And it looks like a warning has been given to Ferguson Jenkins. And I'll tell you, that's a little bit too liberal right there.
Brian was off, and I don't know that Fergie even paid any attention to him over at first base.
Well, there's no way that Jody Davis can throw out a runner with a running lead at first base. That's why we say the pitcher's responsibility is just to make him stop
the game. About 360 or 70 feet to left field is the difference in the ball game as the Mets lead 2-0. Pitch and stole second. And that's lofted deep into left center field. Mel Hall at the wall. It's out of here. Another home run. The second two-run home run for Walt Terrell the opposite way.
Well, I can't believe it. And neither can Fergie Jenkins. Say the next time in that situation, they'll probably walk Terrell intentionally to get to Mookie Wilson. 4 RBIs, the second home run of the day. Now look at the looks. Now this has got to be, what great shots in the dugout. Fastball out over the plate, the same pitch he hit out before. Now mind you, the wind did help this, but it won't say that in the official scoring tomorrow. I can't believe it.
And did you notice that nobody in the dugout came out to congratulate? A word from Dotson.
I would say $100.
Play, nobody left. End of 4.
From Manufacturers Hanover. And Darryl Strawberry is 0 for 2. And a bunt attempt, the good one, say he's going to have to hurry. Doesn't get him. Bill Buckner did not cheat then as much as he possibly should have or could have. And Strawberry has an infield hit.
Well, Darryl certainly has enough speed to do this consistently, and it's not a bad play leading off the inning. Ron Shea barehanded the ball nicely, but couldn't get enough on it to get Strawberry. Buckner
trying to get the bullpen. Swing and a miss. He got him. Big strikeout. As Walt Terrell is doing a tremendous job against these.
Nothing.
Boquette as the Cubs threaten here in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Mets leading 4-0. Cubs with runners at first and second, no one out. And he has driven in 40. And a hard smash, should be a double play. Giles to Baylor and on to first base for the double play. And as the Mets pick up 2, crossing over to third is Bill Buckner. Mets starting their second double play of the ball game. And he strikes him out with a good slider, and that ends the inning. So Terrell, struggling a bit in the 7th, gets out of it. A big double play by the Mets. No runs, 2 hits, a walk, 2 men left on, and the score at the end.
With runners at first and third, 1 out here in the 8th inning, and a run in.
And Diaz with a possible.
Bases are loaded. And are tied with 11. A big strikeout by Carlos Diaz as he gets Ron Shea with a breaking ball down and in for the second out here in the 8th inning. Did he swing? Yes, he did. Carlos Diaz walks his first man, but then strikes out the next 2. The Cubs leave the bases loaded here in the 8th inning. What a job by Carlos Diaz in a tough situation to preserve the 4-1 New York Mets lead at the end of 8 innings. We'll go to the 9th, but first, here's a word. And a breaking ball just had Boa walking all over the...
We call it the surf pitch. He comes from Hawaii.
Popped up and playable. Brian Giles behind the first base position, drifting near the line, makes the catch, and the Mets win it. They have taken the first 2 games of this series against the Cubbies as Carlos Diaz picks up his first save as a New York Met, his second Major League save. Walt Terrell gets the win to push his record to 2-4, and Ferguson Jenkins takes the loss. He is now 3-7. as Walt Terrell hits two two-run home runs and pitches outstanding game into the 8th inning to pick up the victory. We'll be back with a wrap-up here at Wrigley Field in Chicago in just a minute. The final score once again, the Mets 4 and the Cubs 1. But now here's a word from Oldsmobile.
Home run in the major leagues, his first base hit this year. However, he had 2 last year as a Met. Now, we have said that this guy swings the bat well, but I mean, this is
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe it.
Take a look at this swing. Now, he puts a good swing on it. Of course, the pitch is a fastball. They're thinking that he's going to bunt. That was right down the middle, but Terrell taking advantage of the fastball, puts it into the bleachers in left field, and the Mets lead by a score 2-0.
And that's lofted deep into left center field. Mel Hall at the wall. It's out of here. Another home run. The second 2-run home run for Walt Terrell the opposite way.
Well, I can't believe it.
Now, he puts a good swing on it. Of course, the pitch is a
fastball out over the plate, the same pitch he hit out before. Now, mind you, the wind did help this.
Support. This afternoon, rookie right-hander Walt Terrell took care of that and the Cubs as the Mets whipped Chicago 4-1. Wrigley Field in Chicago, 3rd inning. That is Ron Hodges facing Ferguson Jenkins. All right, Hodges at the plate. Watch this. Sinking line drive into right field. Keith Moreland dives, says, I got it. I got it. Now, we know the Emmy nominations came out this week, but Moreland wants an Oscar. Watch this in slow motion. You can see that the ball bounces first. That's a trap and a no-no. Give Hodges a base hit. Nice try, Keith. Next batter out, Walt Terrell. 0 for 14 this season. He gets it, loses it over the vines in left field. A 2-run homer for Terrell. Mets take the lead 2-0. You want to see history repeat itself? 4th inning, Brian Giles on base. Terrell gets a fastball, and this one is a goner. Same spot. Jenkins can't believe it. Terrell with 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, gets the victories. Mets have now won 6 out of 7. 4-1 the final. They beat the Cubs. Now, Walt Terrell becomes the first National League pitcher in 12 years to hit 2 home runs in a game. Do you know who the last one was? For those of you who said Rick Wives of the Phillies back in 1971, you were absolutely right. Unbelievable. What an intelligent audience we have.
Okay. Andy Lurch of the Phillies, the last. Some anxious moments in the 8th inning with Carlos Diaz on in relief. Bases loaded, only 1 out. Diaz mowing down the cleanup hitter, Ron Shea. Then he has to confront the tough Leon Durham, and he nails Durham as well. So Diaz striking out a pair of heavy hitters to get his first save, thus preserving the win for the slugger. Walt Terrell, the Mets take it 4-1. Elsewhere.
With the Cubs today, with the sun getting involved, and Mookie Wilson wishing that he were at the beach instead. It's Wilson wishing, yes. Mets were losing to the Cubs 3-2 in the bottom of the 4th when Dickie Knowles lost it a lazy fly to center. Now, Mookie had it and then lost it in the sun. The run scored. The Cubs led 4-2, but then Danny Heap came through with an RBI single in the top of the 5th. After he was thrown out at home on a double by Mookie Wilson, Wilson went to 3rd in the throw and scored when Knowles balked. It was a tie game. In the 10th inning, with Mark Bradley on 3rd and Wilson on 2nd, Hubie Brooks singled both runners to give the Mets a 6-4 lead. Jesse Orosco scared them to death, loaded the bases with no men out in the bottom of the 10th, but the Mets still won it 6-4. That's 7 wins in their last 8 games. The other scores, Philadelphia.
You know, perhaps the Mets are learning how to win. Frank Howard's crew made it 7 out of their last 8 as they complete their 3-game sweep of the Cubs final from Wrigley Field. The Mets 6, the Cubs 4. It took 10 innings. The game was 4-4 after 9, but the Mets pressed all the right buttons in the 10th. Pinch hitter Rusty Staub, is there any better in baseball? Rusty delivers his 17th pinch hit as that goes into center field. They had Mark Bradley come in and run for Rusty, and after a walk and a wild pitch, 2nd and 3rd for Hubie Brooks, into left field off Lee Smith. 2 runs come across to score, and the Mets take a 6-4 lead. But in the bottom of the 10th, Jesse Orosco digs a hole and then provides some drama. 2 walks and an infield hit. They got the bases loaded, nobody out, but down goes Keith Moreland. Down goes Mel Hall. Beautiful curveball. And then Ryan Sandberg at the plate. Bouncer to short. Baylor's got it. Force at 2nd. Game over. The Mets, for the first time, have won 3 straight on the road, and they beat the Cubs 6-4 in 10 innings. I like this streak by the Mets. You know, had a feeling last Sunday when they swept the Pirates in that doubleheader, they gained some confidence. We'll find out.
sweep. They did it at the expense of the Cubs in a 10-inning affair, 6-4 the final there. The Mets have now won 7 of their last 8 games. Mets led 2-1. This was in the third. Mel Hall hit a solo shot. This came off of Craig Swan. This was the 11th home of the year given up by Swan, and it's all tied at 2. Mets trailed 4-3 in the 5th inning, and Dickie Knowles balked. Mookie got him a little excited there. Mookie scores from third. This tied the game at 4 apiece. We go to the top of the 10th. 2 on. Hubie Brooks singles, and this scores Bradley and Wilson. The ball goes to left. This made it a 6-4 ball game. And in the bottom of the 10th, bases loaded, 1 out. Jesse Orosco strikes out Mel Hall on 3 straight pitches, and then got Sandberg to ground out to end the game. 11th save for Orosco. Mets sweep the series 6-4. Doug Sisk gets the win. National League scoreboards.
And at the end of 2 here in Chicago, Wrigley Field, it's 1-0 the Cubs. And now a word from Oldsmobile. 26. There's Ortiz at third. Mookie Wilson, the base-stealing threat at first. There he goes. Ball hit well to right field. Johnstone can't get to it. 1 run scores. Wilson, who was running on the play, is going to score. And Hubie Brooks is now going to go to third. And Knowles throws it away. Dickie Knowles, not a good play, throwing it to third base. Had Brooks relieve on Jay Johnstone.
Let's look at it again. The ball slicing away from Johnstone in right field. He can't catch up with it. And Mookie will score easily. He was running with the crack of the bat.
He had left at third. So at the end of 2.5 here at Wrigley Field, the Mets have taken a 2-1 lead over the Cubs.
Lead 4-2. And now here's a word from hitter for Craig Swan. It'll be Danny Heap with 1 out and a runner in scoring position. Brian Giles going to third. Here's the throw, not in time. Brian almost overslid the bag, but kept his toe on it.
That he's going to pinch hit for another 3 innings.
He doesn't have his gloves on, and he doesn't have his helmet on. So, but he always has that bat. There's a base hit into right field. Johnstone over to cut it off, but an RBI for Danny Heap as he comes through as a pinch hitter once again. His 6th pinch hit RBI to drive in the 3rd run for the Mets.
And Danny Heap had fouled a couple of balls down the third base line. A lot of times you see that when a guy comes up cold, he's really not by Hall, then he can't recover, but he caught it, and then he overthrows the cutoff man. But a nice play by Sandberg. So you had a nice play by Hall, nice play by Sandberg, and now a nice play by Lake.
Well, it scored 8-4-2 on the play at the plate. Mookie goes to third, as you see Frank Pulley driving their cars.
Drivers? Yes. Here's a balk.
A balk is called because Mookie was jumping around at third base, and Mookie will score on the balk to tie the game at 4-4.
What a weird ball game. Want guys to work from the stretch. Now watch, you see that when that right hand went up,
by Dickie Knowles, allowing Mookie to score from third. In the middle of the 5th, we're tied again. It's 4-4, and now here's a word from Oldsmobile. In fact, Durham has only had 1 hit all year against New York. Right at the second baseman, Giles, it could be 2. Baylor to first, a double play that ends the 9th inning as Durham hits sharply into a 4-6-3 double play, and we will go to extra innings here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. At the end of 9, Oldsmobile.
No, the Cubs are playing at home. Has to lie with the Mets right now. Orosco is 4-1. 4 wins and 1 save in his last 5 games. Speaking of red hot, Rusty Staub leading the league with 16 pinch hits.
And leads the league in RBIs. There's a base hit through the middle, and Rusty Staub with his 17th pinch hits. Rusty hitting at 306 before that base hit for the season. So Rusty, the pinch hitter, and will we get a pinch runner for him?
Probably Mark Bradley, and that's who it's going to be. And you know, Ralph, that is, you know, by design, it's 7.
There goes the runner, and the ball taken. The throw by Davis. It is not in time. And Bradley comes up with a big stolen base. His 3rd in 5 tries, and the Mets have the go-ahead run at second base.
Well, I'll tell you, with a guy like Smith, he doesn't have a good move, but as you pointed out yesterday, He does get the ball there in a hurry. Now watch his slap tag by Verizor. A very close play. Verizor did a throw, was on the line.
Perfect throw. He stopped his 17th, and that ties a club record. The record originally held by Ed Kranepool for pinch hits in the season. Willie Brooks.
And the all-time leader in pinch hits, Jose Morales.
So Lee Smith to UB Brooks. And that off the glove of Jody Davis. The runners will move up.
That's going to be scored a pass ball, I would think.
Setting up. It looks like he's setting up outside. There's a slider. It's hit by Shea, and one run will score. Another will score. And the Mets lead 6-4 as UB Brooks gets a big two-strike base hit.
Well, usually Hubie's forte is 2 outs, but this time with 2 strikes, he hits a nasty pitch off of Lee Smith. And the reason he hits it is because he's taken the proper approach to hitting. Even though it appears his rear end was out, which it was, he was protecting the outside part of the plate. And a big hit for Hubie Brooks. He had a big one back in the second and drove in 2, and now he drives in 2 in the...
Had a 5-1 lead in the 7th inning. That's right, it was too much. There's an echo in the place. The game was tied at 5, and then in the 10th inning, Darryl Strawberry, only a triple, against Jeff Reardon. They purposely walked Baylor. Men on first and third, right? He tried to pick Baylor off and threw the ball away. Strawberry scored, and you know who won the ball game? Jesse Orosco, who's won 5 of the last 9 Mets wins. He's now 10-5 for the year. So the Mets win it in 10 by a score of 6-5. In the other National League game,
their streak to 8 of 9 this evening in Montreal, and they did. It was 5-5 in the top of the 10th. Darryl Strawberry hit a triple, then Jeff Reardon tried to pick him off third base, threw the ball wildly. Strawberry scored, and then Jesse Orosco pitched 3 innings of 2-hit ball, and he won another one. Yes, more about Orosco in a second. Rusty Staub, by the way, broke the Met club record of 18 consecutive, or rather successful pinch hits. Now, the ball teams from the city of New York had 2 things to be proud of even before today's game. Orosco was named National League Player of the Week. Over the last 9 days, including tonight, he's won 5 games, saved 2, hasn't allowed an earned run in his last 10 appearances, covering 19 in the 3rd inning. He's very deserving. The American League Player of the Week is
The arm in the Mets cast. Jesse Orosco is our Pinochet's National League Player of the Week. The reliever shut out the division-leading Pirates for 4 innings to gain his 6th win in the first game of a doubleheader. Then Frank Howard called on his reliever in Game 2, and Orosco pitched 3 more shutout innings, picking up his 7th win. Overall, the 26-year-old has 9 saves and a 1.43 ERA. That's a nice touch of magic, Jesse. Baseball rolls along. It continues to gather special moments, such as these modern-day defensive gyms. From some golden defense of the present to a treasure full of the past. From some golden defense of the present to a treasure full of the past.
At the end of 4.5 innings, it's the Cubs nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Dotson.
That's Seagull, huh?
That was Seagull, wasn't it?
Yeah. 4 straight balls to Ron Hodges.
That's right.
Ted Williams, of course, an avid hunter and fisherman, but the distraction to their hitters, evidently. And a bunt attempt by Terrell is successful as Hodges goes to second base. So Walt Terrell does it successfully this time, but with to the catcher and grounded to second. Base hit, right field. It's going to be a play at the plate. Moreland can throw. And Hodges slides in with the first run of the ball game. Mookie Wilson going to second. It's New York 1 and Chicago nothing.
Mookie Wilson comes up with an RBI as he hits this ball hard to right. Now the outfield is wet. Moreland has a good arm, but that ball a little bit wet. It appeared that the ball sailed on him and moved away from home plate, and that gave Hodges a chance to come in and score. Almost like throwing a spitter.
Yep, you're exactly right. That ball did appear. There were no errors and 1 man left on, and at the end of 5 complete innings of play, it's the Mets 1 and the Cubs nothing. Now for strikeouts. There he goes. Strong throw by Hodges, nails Mel Hall for the 5th time this year. A very strong throw by Ron Hodges. Gets Hall easily at second base, and the Mets are out of here. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 5.5 innings of now at the plate tonight, 1 for 1. He was hit by a pitch from Ferguson Jenkins back in the 1st inning. Change up, ball hit well, way back, way back. Out of here, Danny Heath. The 7th home run of the year for Danny Heath, and the Mets lead it 2-0.
Well, Danny Heath has hit 3 of his 7 home runs as a pinch hitter. And right here you see an off-speed pitch, and he gets on top of this one, and the wind takes it away from Keith Moreland, and it goes over the outfield fence, and the Mets lead by 2.
And Darryl Stroh. So Danny Heath has made it 2-0 with his 7th home run of the year.
Tim, I believe I said 3 of them have been as a pinch hitter. 4 have been as a pinch hitter.
Yeah, that's right. Danny Heath leads the major leagues in pinch hit home runs. As a matter of fact, the record for pinch hit home runs is 6, held by Johnny Fredericks. When did he do it? Back in 19? There were no errors and 1 left. And at the end of 6 innings of play here at Shea in Flushing, New York, the Mets lead 2-0.
The Cubs aren't working for them right now.
That's right. Swing and a miss. He got him. A big strikeout for Walt Terrell, as he registers his 4th strikeout of the ball game.
And he got him with a sinking fastball, and that is a big strikeout. Mets leading by 2.
Slider, he gets him. The 5th strikeout of the game for Walt Terrell, and it couldn't have come at a more opportune moment. For the Cubs in the 7th, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left at the end of 6. Yes, sir. And a swing and a miss, and he got another strikeout. He has 6 this evening, and all have come at opportune moments.
And right here, he came back with another good breaking ball.
Swing and a miss, and he gets him. The 7th strikeout for Walt Terrell. And for the Cubs in the 8th, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left at the end of 7.5. A masterful job by Walt Terrell as he's pitching the Mets to a 2-0 lead. Now here's a word. Fly ball to center. This should end it. Mookie coming on. him. 3 up, 3 down. Terrell retires the last 6 to face him. His first major league shutout. His first major league complete game. A 2-0 victory for Walt Terrell and the New York Mets. A very proud and happy Walt Terrell being congratulated by his teammates. So trotting off to the happy confines of the clubhouse, I'm sure he will be Ralph Kiner's guest on Kiner's Corner. The final totals: no runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Cubs, 2 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for the Mets, as the Mets win 2-0. And we'll be back with a recap and a wrap-up right after this one.
Perez has 13 and Dravecki has 13 along with Soto. And a breaking ball right in there for strike 3. So Seaver walking 1, leaving 1, and the score at the end of 1/2 inning. The Cubs nothing, the Mets coming up. He knows that Mookie can steal. Second in the National League with 38.
Ooh, that's a good move right there.
Minor leagues. I don't know if that means a whole lot. There goes Mookie. Jody Davis with the throw, and it's not in time. And Mookie with his 39th stolen base.
Well, I tell you, Ralph, I was talking to Lee Elia, the manager of the Cubs, before the game, and they were talking about Jody Davis's slump in throwing. And he said the major thing that he's doing is he's coming up first and then going out. And you want to try to go out and then up when you're a catcher. And you could see Davis stand up.
Very limited points of seconds. And a ground ball through the hole in the right field. Mookie comes in. He'll score. And the Mets take the lead 1-0. So Hubie Brooks drives in his 44th run. And at this point in the ball game, it is the game-running RBI.
And to echo your words about Bordy and thinking about Mookie Wilson, what's he going to think about this one by Hubie Brooks? Mookie does have looks like a pull left hamstring. His motion.
And now Valentine's in trouble. Valentine is in trouble as Fremy now comes out and he is saying something to Hernandez, and it looks like Hernandez has been called out, but for what?
Well, you got me. I have no idea. The Cubs are coming off the field. Now, this is a first right here.
I can't believe this.
I don't understand what has happened right now. Bobby Valentine is absolutely livid. He's out of here.
Well, you know what Valentine did in the third base coaching box? He was faking like he was breaking toward home. And that would be the only thing I can even imagine could have been the reason why the runner was called out. Bobby was faking like he was the base runner in the coach's box.
That is the only thing that could be construed as interfering with the hitter. And naturally, it is up to the discretion of the umpire to call the runner out, and that appears what Bruce Fremy, the home plate umpire, has done. Valentine isn't through. Now he's going back to get his hat. He figures since he's out of the ball game, he might as well get his money's worth, right?
He got a lot of money's worth out of it. There's no doubt about it. So in the inning, 1 run on 3 hits, no one left, and the score at the end of 1, it's the Mets 1 and the Cubs nothing. Now here's a word from Manufacturers Hanover. Is off the bag at first. The runner goes, and Seaver picks up his 3rd strikeout. No runs, 1 hit. 1 man left at first, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings. It's the Mets trying to figure out what that decision was all about.
And we have been told that it was called coach's interference, that Bobby Valentine intentionally tried to get Rich Bordy to balk, and as a result, he's pretty good guy. Swing and a miss at a changeup.
Well, the Mets are really
Stray Davis.
To pull off a couple of those.
There goes Hall, swing and a miss, and Ortiz throws it in center field, but it doesn't matter because Jody Davis makes the last out, striking out. 6 6th strikeout of the night for Seaver. He's nearing his seasonal high. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. And after 3.5 here at Shea in Flushing, New York.
But the Cubs tied. 1 run on 2 hits. The stolen base a big factor. And 1 man left at second. And it's the Met pitching this year. And he takes it right down the slot. So Durham struck out for the 3rd time by Tom Seaver. Seaver's 8th strikeout of the ball game.
And Tom's high for the year is
run with 2 men out in the 5th inning. This game has come with 2 men away. So Mookie 2 for 2, batting for the 3rd time. And a line drive to center field, another base hit for Mookie, and almost an inside the park triple or home run. Good play by Hall as he skids on the wet grass to even come up with that ball. Mookie, good-sized lead, and he's running. Pitch is swung on and missed, and Mookie slides in safely. So Hubie Brooks strikes out, and Jody Davis unable to throw Mookie out for the 2nd time.
And that's Bordy's over the plate.
We'll have to ask him that.
Oh, okay.
Ground ball out to the first base side. Buckner has it. Throw to the pitcher, and he drops the ball. Here comes Mookie, and he is safe, and it gets away, goes into the dugout, and Hernandez will go on to 3rd base.
Oh, boy.
And that is the first error by the Cubs in 51 innings.
I'll tell you, the 1st and 2nd error. The 1st error is going to be on Bordy on the drop throw, and the 2nd one's going to be on Bordy on the overthrow. Lee Elia coming out, but it's 2 bases after the 2nd throw. And here it is. This is why, for all you young folks, this is why you can't take anything for granted. Right here. Mookie Wilson running hard at 3rd. Out of your picture now. And Keith Hernandez running to, I mean, he's out. Now Mookie coming in home, not taking anything for granted. And Terry Tata, the 1st base umpire, almost in the way. And that's either going to be another error on Bordy or on Jody Davis. It's got to be 2 errors on the play.
And Lee Elia evidently going to take his pitcher out of the game. Big play for the New York Mets.
That might be an error on Jody Davis. That ball was handleable. Or something like that. Are you going to take Orosco out of there? I would think. And a slider, fair ball. Nice play, Hubie Brooks. Hubie right on the line, and he makes an unassisted tag of 3rd. And what a big play that was. For the Cubs in the 8th, no runs. On 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. At the end of 7.5, a good ball game here at Shea. It's 2-1 Mets. Now here's a word from Manufacturers Hanover. Signed with the Boston Red Sox. Line drive, base hit right field. Nice play by Moreland. Ball almost came up and popped him right in the neck.
He played that one like a cat.
Ground ball up the middle. Brooks is going to go to 3rd. And Tom Larizer, it appeared, took his eye off the ball and on the bag and onto the base runner, Hubie Brooks.
And this ball gaining speed as it goes right over the top of the bag at second. Larizer couldn't catch up with it. And probably the reason why that infield is so fast is that it's been covered because of the rain, and it bakes it out.
Hardens that dirt up. And
chance he had, yeah.
Right. I don't think the rule book says that it's got to be a sure chance on that particular play. Not in a throwing position. I think Hubie off of that stuff. Bill Mamboquette, the pitching coach, of course. Line drive, base hit, a bullet down the line. Brooks scored. Hernandez is rounding 3rd. He's going to score. Strawberry going into 3rd base, and Darryl Strawberry has his 5th triple of the year, and what a big hit that was. I mean, a BB down the right field line.
Darryl Strawberry coming through with 2 big runs batted in to put the Mets on top by a score of 4-1 as they bat here in the 8th inning. Here's the replay. Fastball right in his power alley. And he rips it down the right field line, and with Strawberry's speed, a 3-base hit as Brooks lopes in from third, and Hernandez all out, scoring all the way from first base.
So it's now a much more comfortable lead for Tom Seaver, who stands to win this game. And a very important...
He tried to pick a chance where they might be asleep.
Not squeezing. Fly ball. That's going to get the run in. And Jesse Orosco does the job. Moreland fields it. Strawberry scoring easily. And what a job by Jesse Orosco. It's now a 5-1 ball game.
Well, that run goes against the record of Bill Campbell, and Orosco not only pitching well, but hitting well. Gets a run batted in, and he moves Moreland way back there. No chance for a play at the plate. So the Mets leading 5-1 as we are in the bottom of the 8th inning.
So a comfortable lead for Jesse Orosco now. Batting .301. And a tap to third, Hubie Brooks, and it's all over here at Shea Stadium. Another superb performance by Jesse Orosco as he comes on in the 7th inning with the bases loaded. And he gets Buckner out on a fly ball to center field and then retires the Cubs with only 2 hits over the last 2. There's Darryl Strawberry with that key hit in the 8th inning. And the final score here at Shea Stadium, 5-1, 5 hits, or 5 runs, 12 hits and no errors for the Mets, 1 run, 9 hits, and 2 errors for the Chicago Cubs. Tom Seaver, the winner, he's now 7-11, and Rich Bordy, the loser, he's now 0-1. And we'll be back with a recap here from Shea Stadium in Flushing, New York, right after this word from Budweiser.
Fans some lofty notions and a lot to cheer about. Winning 8 out of 9 for manager Frank Howard. Rookie Darryl Strawberry got right during the hot spell, cracking home runs number 13, 14, and 15, and hitting .343. Shea Stadium also rocked for George Foster, who picked up his 1,000th RBI in the bottom of the 9th against Montreal. Scoring all the way from second with a winning run was Mookie Wilson. Just 3 days earlier, the Mets beat Pittsburgh in the bottom of the 12th the same way. Mookie was the man in motion, causing a commotion and wreaking havoc on the bases. With Wilson on first against Chicago and Hubie Brooks at bat, the Mets played hit and run. When Hubie delivered the hit, Mookie delivered the run. Two days later, Mookie caused Dickie Knowles to balk. That tied a game the Mets won in extra innings, completing their first 3-game sweep in 2 years. Hubie Brooks had 5 hits in the series and 5 RBIs, including 4 in the finale, and drove home the winning runs in the 10th inning. Meanwhile, the bullpen pitched 28 scoreless innings. In 3 appearances, Carlos Diaz pitched hitless ball and lowered his ERA to 2.21. And man, Jesse Orosco was phenomenal. Dr. J in 9 days won 5 and saved 2, boosting his mark to 10-5 with 11 saves and a major league leading 1.26 ERA. In the West ball, that is. So let's slip away for some sensational slip-ups. And slip not, sailor. Is the play a bit too slipshod, folks? Sorry, no refunds. Well, we all go slip sliding away now and then. Hey, look out, Uncle Robbie. Umpires just love to hand out pink slips. Slip these guys a double dose of do-si-dos. Give it the slip, man, but be careful, because sometimes that ball can just slip on out of here. There it goes. Time now to brush up on some finger-snapping plays at the plate. Okay, folks, now come blow your horn. That's what they did on trumpet night in Minnesota, where every fan with a horn got in free. Won his third game as New York beat Chicago 4-1. Now his pitching was good, but his hitting out of sight. Terrell was 0 for 14 going into the game, but in his first at-bat, he smacked a two-run homer to give the Mets the lead. Next time up, he became the first pitcher in 5 years and the first Met pitcher ever to hit 2 home runs in one game. Another two-run homer, and all off a dismayed Fergie Jenkins. Congratulations, Walt. And that's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.
Play winning baseball. Best streak of the season for the guys from Shea. If you're keeping track, they've won 11 out of the last 14. Latest conquest, a 5-2 number on the Chicago Cubs. In the first inning, that's Keith Hernandez taking that ball into left field. Bob Baylor comes in to score. Mets lead 1-0. In the third, they break it open. The base is loaded for George Foster, and forget it. Upper Deck City. Look at the Mets fans there in their designer shirts. Great dress. Love it. Okay, 5-0 the Mets. Ed Lynch did well, but then Jesse Orosco came in, closed out the door. Jerry Morales pops up. Game over. Mets a winner 5-2. And I love this for the Mets. They're doing great. They're going to try and keep it going into Pittsburgh for a couple before heading out to the West Coast.
It's sharply. He must go to break up 2, however.
In the double play. And there's a base hit. Hernandez strokes the ball to left field, and the Mets lead 1-0 as Baylor scores.
Some kind of hitting by Keith Hernandez. A lot of left-handers with the first baseman holding the runner on will try to pull the ball in the hole. And Keith is going to take what Rainey gives him, the sinker away, and he slaps it to left field. Good piece of hitting by Hernandez. This is some kind of stroke right here, Ralph. What a sweet stroke, huh?
He gets on the plane of that ball so quickly. Everett Scott with 1,307. Ground ball to Bob Baylor, and that is turned into a double play. The Mets turning their 122nd. Baylor to Oquendo, and then on to Hernandez.
I think it's interesting to note that Bob Baylor, when he's playing second, has to make a completely different throw than he does when he's playing shortstop. Watch this little shovel pass. Had some hang time, and it gives the shortstop a chance to catch the ball and then reach in and make a good throw to first base.
Pick up with that backhanded pickup there, but don't do it with men on base.
Line drive, base hit. And Chuck Rainey tried to come in on Ed Lynch, and he whacks one to center field, and he's a leadoff base runner. Left field. Line drive, right field. Moreland can't come up with it. What a piece of hitting by Bob Baylor, and you were exactly right, Ralph Kiner. He wasn't bunting. And trying to shoot for that hole between first and second. Base hit left field. Valentine's going to hold up Ed Lynch because Durham's got a strong throwing arm out there, and he reaches the ball in a hurry. So the Mets have the bases loaded and nobody out. That's their 6th base hit of the game and the 2nd in a row for Hubie Brooks.
And the Mets again in this game have their first 3 batters on as a result of 3 singles. Durham coming over, the left fielder, gets to the ball.
Ground ball to Buckner. He's going to come home. They get one. Back to first. No! Hernandez beats the throw to first base. Now, Ralph, you might think that Buckner might have stepped on first and then come home. He's batting .245. He leads the Mets in home runs and RBIs, 18 and 57. Way back, left field. Right field, out of here, grand slam home run. For a while. George Foster with a grand slam home run, his 19th home run of the year, and that gives him 61 RBIs. Oh boy, the Mets lead 5-0. You gotta love it.
Well, the grand slam home run, the big blow of the game of baseball, and you don't see it happen too often. And this one well hit. Foster stood at home plate to watch it, and a well-deserved grand slam home run by George Foster. As you look at the reaction of the pitcher, Chuck Rainey, who threw up that pitch, that's his 12th home run that he has given up this year for the Chicago Cubs.
Base hits, no errors, and 1 left. And at the end of 3, it's now a rather
the year. Thad Bosley, the runner at first base, and another one looped out in the left field. Here comes Foster. He slides in under it, and he makes the play. So George Foster, who had a grand slam home run, comes in to make a fine defensive play to take a base hit away from Ryne Sandberg.
It really was, and the reason outfielders slide on plays like this, you see Lynch jamming Sandberg. He doesn't hit it hard, but the reason they slide is because by sliding, that brings your glove down. If you had to bend from the waist, you're liable to have a severe injury, so you zero in on it and make the slide, and Foster makes the catch easily.
And Pete Rose has had 7 hits in his last 14 plate appearances. And a good play by Hubie Brooks, and look at this arm. Hubie Brooks with a cannon for an arm. And Moreland had a base hit taken away there, and that ends the inning. But the Cubs get 2 on 3 hits, and they leave 1 in the score at the end of 4 1/2.
Hit. There were no errors and nobody left. And at the end of 8 complete, Ed Lynch, vying for his complete game, was squelched in the 8th with a pinch hitter, and that was Kingman. But the Mets still lead 5-2. Now here's a word from pitching. He has done since July 31st. He has made 8 appearances. He has 5 victories and 3 saves in those 8 appearances. He's 10-5 with a 1.22 ERA. You are reading correctly. 1.22. 63 strikeouts and 30 bases on balls. We're in the 9th. Slider jams him. That should be it. Brian Giles calls off everyone and makes the catch. So Ed Lynch started dealing today. He dealt 8 innings, and Jesse Orosco comes in to close the deal. For the 6th straight time in the last 10 days, the Mets have beaten the Chicago Cubs. This sweep, by the way, is it's the first time the Mets have swept 2 series in a season since 1980, both of those coming at home. So the Mets, a red-hot ball club, winning 11 out of their last 14 as they beat the Chicago Cubs 5-2. And we'll be back with a further recap of the ball game right after this word from Dotson.
National League East as they were, but the difference between first place and last place has dwindled thanks to the surging New York Mets. Make it 11 of 14. 2 straight sweeps against the Cubs, jumping out on top in the first on a Keith Hernandez single to left. Then in the 3rd inning, Chuck Rainey gave George Foster a fat one. Of his 19 homers this year, this one did the most damage because at the time, Ed Lynch was on 3rd, Bob Baylor on 2nd, and Hubie Brooks on 1st. A grand slam, Mets up 5-zip. Lynch gave up 3 extra base hits in the 5th, including a Mel Hall 4-bagger, but Eddie sailed through 8 innings with a 5-2 lead. And that's why eyebrows were raised when Jesse Orosco came in to pitch the 9th inning. Frank Howard said Lynch had thrown 125 pitches, and that was enough. So Ed's now 8-7, no complete games. There's Orosco, who was the National League Player of the Week for the 2nd straight week. 22 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. He's got 5 wins and 4 saves in his last 9 appearances. Now, lots of us have had bad days. The Yankees had theirs on Pie Tar Sunday, and the Chicago White Sox had theirs yesterday. Against the Orioles in the 5th inning with a man on first, Carlton Fisk belted a Scott McGregor pitch into the left field seats. Sox are up 3-0 in the hearts and minds of the fans and third base umpire Greg Kosk. However, Jim Evans says that a fan reached over the little yellow line to catch the ball, which makes it fan interference, and Fisk was credited with a double. Now, Tony La Russa did his best George Brett imitation. He added a twist as the White Sox skipper took third base from its roots and threw it at a seagull. I'm sorry, that's the wrong story. That's when Mr. Evans asked Mr. La Russa to take a hike. Sox failed to score. Baltimore came back with 2 runs and won it 2-1.
I told you earlier that, well, first I should give you the Mets score. We said earlier the Mets had won 11 of their last 14 games. They have now won 11 of their last 15 games. They lost 4-2 tonight in Pittsburgh. Rookie pitcher Jose De Leon, who almost pitched a no-hitter against the Mets a couple of weeks ago, allowed only 4 hits tonight over 8 1/3 innings. One of them, a home run by Darryl Strawberry, his 16th of the year, but the Mets lost it 4-2. We told you earlier that the Mets and Yankees have produced the Players of the Week 2 weeks in a row. In the American League, it's Dave Winfield, Yankee outfielder who's been red hot with the bat. And in the National League, it's, yes, Jesse Orosco, a relief pitcher for the Mets who has pitched 22 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings in his last 12 appearances. He's won 5 games and lost 4 in his last 9 games. He has 10 wins, 5 losses for the season. And in the American League, as we said, outfielder Dave Winfield of the Yankees between August 8th and August 4th.
New York Mets baseball. Today, the New York Mets take on 5, an earned run average of 5.36. And for the Padres,
getting into the hitters' kitchens, and possibly we can wait a few more minutes here after 1 o'clock.
In San Francisco at 10 o'clock in the morning?
No, I don't remember that at all.
That is early. You'll be figuring he didn't have time to get up, threw from his knees, and one-hopped at the first base.
And he one-hops it on purpose. This is a play that was patented by Davey Concepcion in Cincinnati, and Seaver talked to Concepcion about it. You use the turf. Throw it down in the turf. If you throw it high, it takes longer. You throw it down, it skips off and gets there, and it's very effective here on AstroTurf.
So there are some negative things.
For the end of the season. Now, the Pine Tar game is finally over. Maybe. Play resumed about 10 after 6 this evening at the stadium with 2 out, top of the 9th. Kansas City Royals leading 5-4. Here's what happened. Hal McRae comes up for the Royals, but the Yankees have devised a scheme. Pitcher George Frazier throws over to first base to make an appeal upon orders from manager Billy Martin. Then after first base ump Tim Welke rules safe on the appeal, Frazier tries the same thing at second base. But ump Dave Phillips also says safe. Yanks were claiming that George Brett did not touch all the bases after his July 24th home run. But when Billy comes out to argue, the umps produce a sworn affidavit from the umps who worked that game saying Brett did not miss a base. And the tape from that game appears to support the claim. Apparently, George did touch all the bases, but nice try by Billy. Now, back to today's action. Hal McRae strikes out to end the 9th for the Royals. Now the Yanks come up. First batter, Don Mattingly. Facing Dan Quisenberry, Mattingly flies out to Pat Sheridan in center field. 1 out for the Yanks. Next batter up, Roy Smalley. Another fly ball, this time to Joe Simpson in left field. Smalley's down, 2 out for the Yanks. Now Oscar Gamble, pinch hitting, grounds out to second, and the Royals win the infamous Pine Tar game 5-4. After the game, Paul Guanzon talked to the Yankees about the day's events.
I never have either.
And finally, the call. Too much pine tar. The home run, no good. The batter out, and the game over. The Yankees win 4-3. George Brett made his objections known.
Brett is out, and Demon mad. He is out, and having to be forcibly restrained from hitting plate umpire Tim McClellan. And the Yankees have won the ball game 4-3.
Then American League President Lee MacPhail overruled the umpires, saying they should have done away with the bat, not Brett's home run. This morning, 25 days after they left the field in New York, the Royals arrived at the Kansas City airport to fly east, just as a New York judge ordered today's scheduled completion of the game held up.
I don't know what we're going to do exactly. We may get on a plane and fly to Baltimore. We may stay on the plane. But we're headed for New York in hopes that the appeals court will turn over the decision, and we'll be able to get this game finished.
In New York, the young fan who had sued to stop the game because he didn't want to pay $2.50 to see the rest of it was asked what he would do if the judge was overruled on appeal.
If I can get in, I'll pay the $2.50 to see the Yanks. I'll see them whenever I can.
This afternoon, a higher court did throw out the injunction and said, play ball. This evening, a tiny crowd of 1,245 fans entered Yankee Stadium to see the strangest moment in baseball in many years. After claiming 2 more protests, the Yankees quickly got the Royals out and stepped up in the bottom of the 9th. It was now or never.
Fly ball center field. That's Pat Sheridan settling under it, 1 down. We're 2 outs away from finally ending this thing, 25 days after it began. Fly ball left field. 2 outs down, the Yankees down to their final out. On the ground, that should do it. This one didn't take long at all.
In fact, only 12 minutes from first pitch to last out.
Final score, Royals 5, the Yankees 4.
In their
record of 7 wins, 11 losses. He's 0-1 against the Giants. And his earned run average for the year, 3.55.
That was in 1962. And that was the famous year that the Giants and Dodgers played the playoff series 2 out of 3 that the Giants won, led by Willie Mays against the New York Yankees. That famous Ralph Terry to Willie McCovey pitched
away as Jack Clark was put on the ground. That ball a breaking ball, so that was well against the Giants. 16 home runs, 47 RBIs. And a hard hit ball to left field. It's really back there, going, gone, goodbye. Darryl Strawberry with a 17th home run, and he hit that one.
I'll tell you what, it is an absolute joy to see this young man hit. He is going to be around for a long time, folks. Tremendous power the other way, a fastball. Right down Broadway. It was more like on the Avenue of the Americas, but not for long. I mean, that was a rocket to left field. And normally with that wind blowing out to right, I don't know whether that ball would have been out or not. Of course, it wasn't hit high enough, and if there were a wind, then it probably wouldn't have affected it that much. I mean, that ball was hit like a shot.
Not that much. And the next batter, Junior Orr at the end of 1.5. The Giants 2 and the Mets 1. Now here's a word for...
And a slider. And a slider. Nice play on a short hop by Hubie Brooks, and he throws him out. So a nice play, a fine play by Hubie Brooks. But the Giants score 1 run on 1 hit. And there were no errors.
For the Mets. Again, Leonard playing very shallow. Pounced on the ball quickly, but Seaver gets one through there. And there's runners now at first and second.
Well, I'll tell you, he crossed everybody up. I got excited on that. I like that. As you see O'Malley playing in for the bunt, and Tom shrewdly, being a smart hitter, taps one over his head, right? Smart people.
The ball just went right on through and came back to the bag very quickly, reaching back as if to grab his hamstring. Bobby Valentine going down. breaking ball just misses.
Because you feel reasonably sure you're going to get a fastball to hit because it's a bunting situation.
Right back up the middle and off Davis. Baylor with good speed. All hands will be safe. The bases loaded with 1 out.
Well, 3 straight base hits in a row. 2 of them were not through the box. Hits Mike right in the rear end, and the ball floats over towards second, and Bob has an in.
Second and short. And here's Hubie Brooks 0 for 2. Strike 1. Down and in, it's 1-1. As Frank Howard encourages the troops.
Yeah, the Mets 0-24 last August. So a marked improvement as far as August is concerned.
Right. Davis took. There it is. He hits it off the end of the bat. Nice play by Davis. He comes home and gets Okendo at the plate.
That LeMaster can't.
With 1 out, but he got to the ball by leaping up. And so there are 2 out, but the bases are still loaded for Keith Hernandez. Breaking ball inside, ball 1. Hernandez has walked. Ball 2.
Oh, boy, dangerous situation right here. Just say Mark Bradley has swung at 2 first.
Already has to begin with. There's a strike on the outside corner and a good pitch by Davis. Fouled off down the left field line out of play.
Part of the plate, another good 2-strike hitter. And Hernandez
made 2 good pitches. That ball's jammed, but it's going to be a base hit into left center field. 2 runs will score. Hubie Brooks going to third. Here comes the throw. It will not be in time. And it's a 2-run single for Keith Hernandez to tie the game at 3-all here in the 5th. 52 RBIs now for Hernandez.
See, Steve, when you protect the outside part of the plate, that means you're vulnerable inside. But what you're saying is the pitcher's not going to get you out away. And even though you're vulnerable inside, you still have, if you're strong enough, which Hernandez is, you still have that ability to lift the ball over the infield, and that's what Keith did just then.
He fought that ball off into right field. Terrell with a strong arm, but the throw is a little bit to the first base side of home plate, and the slide is what does it. As Kuiper just gets his hand on the
Dwayne Kuiper.
This ball just ties Wellman up. He's ready to swing, but he can't pull the trigger, and it just breaks right across the plate outside for strike 3.
Now, word from Oldsmobile. And the ball bouncing off the fence, coming around from third base to score is Okendo. And Giles with a long double to right center field drives in a run. And the Mets now have picked up their 4th run, and it has cut the Giant lead to 6-4.
Well, we talked about Giles' close batting stance. He can drive that ball to right field, and he did just that. This ball lands well out by the 365 sign. And a nice play by Jack Clark, really, to hold him to a double, getting to that ball very quickly and playing it off the wall. But Okendo, who runs well, scores from first.
So the Mets, as you look, he had walked, singled, and singled. And he goes after the sinker and hits it out to Hernandez, who takes the difficult half hop. Ice cream cones it and goes to the bag.
Go to the 9th inning with the Giants leading 6-4. Now here's a word from Oldsmobile. And a strike from Lavelle. Fouled off. And 1-2. Broken bat, lofted to center. It'll fall in left center for a base hit. And a leadoff single in the 9th inning by Keith Hernandez, his 2nd hit of the night.
And that's a big hit. Keith Hernandez had one like that earlier.
But the Giants with 2 more runs. And here is Foster, who is 2 for 4. George has singled to left center and to center. He's also grounded out and reached on the fielder's choice. Foster representing the tying run. Ball 1 inside.
Here's a final. Had the game-winning RBI.
Foster touches one off. It's out of here. The game is tied as George hits it deep to left center field. His 20th home run of the year. And he now has 63 RBIs. It is 6-6 here in the 9th inning. George loves to hit against the San Francisco Giants, and he's certainly showing it tonight.
Well, Foster Started out here with the Giants and then moved on to Cincinnati. We'll look at it again. A low fastball by Lavelle, and Foster got it all. This is his third hit in the game, and it has tied it up at 6. George Foster being congratulated by his teammates.
And Mark Bradley hits one off Lavelle. Keys made a strong bid for his first extra base hit, but Terrell
in the air to make the play.
So we'll go to the bottom of the 9th here at Candlestick as George Foster has tied it up with a 2-run home run. It's 6-6. Now here's a word from Oldsmobile. Lead off the 9th for Max Venable. He represents the winning run. The pinch hitter has been announced, and it could be that Frank's going to make the double split.
Comes up, and the runner is over at third. So the first move made right here by the Mets is to bring in the left-hander Jesse Orosco. Now Frank Robinson can also inning.
Jesse in 3 games last week picked up 2 saves and a win. He pitched 6 1/3 innings against the Expos and Cubs totally. Strike 3. Jesse Orosco strikes out Bergman by proxy as Brenly takes the 3rd strike, or swings at it.
And right here, a bad pitch, and Brenly struck.
He scored, and I think this is good strategy right here. Evans, a left-handed batter, is on. 1 out. Bottom of the 9th, we're tied at 6. Strike 1. And another sweeping breaking ball for strike 2.
Vicious breaking ball. Wasn't a strike, but when it started out, it looked like one.
0-2. Strike 3. Jesse Orosco has struck out 2 of the 3 batters he's faced. The other one was intentionally walked.
Oh, and he throws him 3 outstanding curveballs to strike him out, and Evans not even close to hitting that pitch. So now a tough right-hander coming up for Jesse Orosco. Jack Clark
tries to keep the game alive for the New York Mets. Strike called.
And that time Orosco went to the fastball.
Breaking ball misses outside. 1-1. For the last 2 consecutive weeks. There's the winning run for the Giants. Max Venable at 2nd. And a ball. And another breaking ball outside. 3-1 now. Did he swing? No, he did not, says first base umpire Ed Montague on the appeal, and the bases are loaded.
It's a fastball. Clark starts to swing and then keeps his lead if he can. If you get behind, then the pressure of walking the batter becomes a very important part.
Strike called at the knees. Breaking ball low. It's 1-1.
Tough job.
Off the fists and fouled back out of play. It's 1-2.
Jesse had that fastball in on his hands, and he had it.
But Orosco has him 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 out, the bases loaded, bottom of the 9th. Strike 3 called.
What a job by Jesse Orosco. He comes in the ball game with a winning run at 2nd, and he strikes out 3 batters. And here it is, the curveball coming back on the outside corner, and that ends the inning. And we go into extra innings.
No runs on 1 hit and a big 3 men left on base. 3 strikeouts for Jesse Orosco. We go to the 10th inning here at Candlestick. We're tied 6-6. Now here's a word from Michelob Light.
A 2-base error, and Giles will go down in the scoring position on the throw. That is the 17th error by Tom O'Malley at 3rd.
And it couldn't have come at a more opportune time for the New York Mets. This is a breaking ball, down and in. And watch this hop right here. A lot of times the guy gets a hop that went to his left, and when he brings his hands back to get in position to throw, he's not prepared to throw. And a good break for the Mets as the ball hit the
corner of the stands there and just made it into that row of white seats that I would imagine are here for Willie Mays' day tomorrow.
Hadn't been for that lower row.
That's right.
So now it's Ron Hodges batting for the first time. Hodges hitting in the second position in the batting order, and he takes a fastball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Minton back and missing again. It's ball 2.
Number 1 guy on this club beat you with a base hit.
And there's the strike, and it's put them in front by a score of 7-6. We're in the 10th inning, and Hodges goes after one way low, and that puts it at 2-2. So now
he's going to get another one at 2, I would imagine. He's going with his best stuff.
2-2 pitch. And he did get another one. A line drive to left field. It'll be a base hit, and it will be an extra base hit. Coming in to score is Giles, and the Mets lead by a score of 7-6 as Hodges comes through on a 2-2 pitch to put the Mets on top.
And, of course, an unearned run here. And you talk about a fine piece of hitting. We've said so often that there's no way a sinker baller, a right-handed sinker baller, is going to come inside on a left-handed hitter because he doesn't get the action. Ron Hodges, knowing that, doesn't try to pull this ball, but pokes it right down the left field line, protecting the outside part of the plate. And a fine, fine piece of hitting by Ron Hodges.
Oh, he hit a sensationally well-pitched pitch.
He really did.
And you always hear a ball player or a pitcher mainly say, well, he hit a mistake. That was no mistake. And now they're going to walk Hernandez to pitch to the right-hand batter, George Foster.
Did you notice Minton?
Owner of the ball club said he gave him a 97% vote of confidence.
It's that 3% you got to worry.
And a man who has had 3 hits in this ball game coming up with runners at first and second and 2 men out. As Tim said, that run will be unearned. His 20th home run of the year. And this one off the hands, popped up in foul territory, and no chance for anyone to get to it. Jersey and close to New York. And again off the hands, it's popped up, and Evans at first base with a shot at it. And he makes the catch, and that retires the side. But the Mets get an unearned run. It's a big one. On 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 men were left. And the score at the end of 9.5 innings, the Mets 7 and the Giants 6. And now a word from Budweiser.
Fastball may have been a ball, and Ron doesn't try to pull the ball. Hits a rope down the left field line. The score, Brian Giles, an unearned run. But, you know, you got to keep in mind one thing. Chili Davis hitting from the right side is the only guy who has hit a home run against Jesse Orosco this year. He did it. You know, Jesse's got to be thinking about that now.
He remembers it, the first pitch of fastball. So I know he's thinking about it. He knows.
Sure.
7-6 Mets, 10th inning, and the pitch back, a breaking ball. Orosco's 1-1 pitch, a fastball. And Chili Davis behind that pitch, and the count now at 1. Fastball fouled away.
Mel Hall on 3 straight.
Oh, that one slipped away, and it's 2-2. And the curveball, strike 3. Orosco now has picked up 4 outs. They've all been on strikeouts.
And a breaking ball on his 2-2 count. And that's that no contest breaking ball. You saw Chili Davis swing under it. He wasn't even close to that pitch. Remember when Willie
Malley, who committed that error to allow the Mets to prolong the driven in a run. Fastball that time, and it's 1-1. Curveball, it is just high, and it's 2 balls in 1
season.
And there's a breaking ball and a good one. It's 2-2.
I mean, there's no contest on that breaking ball.
2-2 pitch. Fastball struck him out. So now Orosco has faced 5 situations and has picked up 5 outs on strikeouts.
And after getting that 2-1 breaking ball over, he buzzes him. And again, O'Malley misses it by 6 inches.
So now Orosco an out away from picking up a victory, his 11th of the year against Orosco. And the curveball, it's strike 1. Average of 1.21. Fastball this time, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. So now the 1-1 pitch on the way. And he goes after a bad pitch. It's hit out to Orosco, and that'll do it. So Jesse Orosco picks up 6 outs to win it. And of the 6 outs, 5 of them were strikeouts. So in the inning, a 1-2-3 inning. We'll be back with a recap in just a minute. The final score, it is the Mets 7 and the Giants 6. Now here's a word from Manufacturers Hanover. A 3-1 to tie it up at 3, and then came from a deficit of 6-3 to tie it up at 6, and then the New York Mets won it in the 10th inning as they scored a run. It was unearned, but they scored the run and won the ball game by a score of 7-6. And Steve, really, I'm trying to think of something to say here. Really exciting to see Orosco come in the ball game. He has developed into one of the most devastating relief pitchers that the Mets have ever had. And he came up and picked up another victory and did such a job that you can't believe it.
No, and I think being speechless over the job that he did is really appropriate, because the breaking ball that Jesse Orosco has shown to go with the live fastball that he has and the control that he has over the breaking ball, as Tim mentioned, throwing it with a count that a hitter would not expect to see, it just freezes him. They can't do anything about it. On top of that, Jesse had the opportunity to win the ball game because the Mets got clutch hitting. They did not lay down and die. And you'd think with Gary Lavelle in there, the way he's been going, that the ball game might be over. Well, it wasn't. George Foster's big 2-run home run tied it for the second time. The Mets battled back, and Orosco smelled the victory and went out there and got it and did another outstanding job. You just can't say enough about him.
And a fine hitting job by Darryl Strawberry, who homered in the second inning. And the Mets coming up with a big victory here over the San Francisco Giants. Orosco now with a record of 11-5. Minton, the losing pitcher, was a bad break. Francisco, California. Today, the New York Mets take on the San Francisco Giants. And right here, it is a special day in San Francisco. It is Willie Mays Day. And officially, the Giants are retiring Willie's number of 24. Ceremonies are going on, and we'll go right down to
Tom Seaver.
Thank you, Al. Willie, on behalf of the entire Mets organization and all the millions of fans in New York and the Big Apple, what can we...
There are great players, and then there are the greatest of the great. And number 24 behind me is one of the greatest of the great. Some of us have been blessed to be able to play with and against Willie Mays. And for all of us in uniform, in the gray uniforms and the white uniforms, those of us that played with and against him who are not here today, all I can say is congratulations, Willie. It's been a pleasure to know you as a teammate. It's been a pleasure to know you and play against you as an opponent.
And then this call.
No, he didn't. He argues with Ed Montague, the home plate umpire. That is a perfect pitch right there. That is painting the corner, and LeMaster still arguing with Montague. Ralph Kiner.
That was taken about 3 or 4 days ago. It really is wonderful how they hit very high in the air. He does have to go up and look up. And right there, he pulls it down, and he is a great football player, great basketball player, and, of course, a Hall of Fame baseball player.
And second strikeout for Ed Lynch as the Giants again go in order. 9 in a row retired. That's what pitching is, Steve, as opposed to throwing, trying to throw it against the brick wall.
Runner going, and the fly ball is lofted to right field. Strawberry has it all the way, makes the catch, and the inning is over. Ed Lynch has kept the hitters off balance, has given up only the single. Hodges hit for a double to drive in the winning run last night, and he's on second base after slapping that outside pitch down the left field line. 2 for 2 for Hodges.
2 for 2 and some deja vu for you. I'm telling you, that is he hits it about in the same spot as he did his game winner last night. He hit that, of course, off of Greg Minton as the bullpen scatters, and Leonard throws late to second base. So the biggest opportunity to score that the Mets have had all day.
That either of the order coming up. There's a line shot just foul down the left field line.
I mean just foul.
Strike called.
in the hole 0-2.
Line shot, base hit left field. Hodges held up and will not score as the ball was very sharply hit. Bryan makes a big turn and scrambles back into first. Runners at first and third with nobody out.
Well, technically, Steve, even if the ball is not sharply hit to the other side, you've got to make sure the ball goes through if you're the runner at second base, unless, of course, there are 2 outs. And Ronnie held up properly, and there's no way to score. Usually, unless there are 2 outs between short and third.
You can't tell how far past the shortstop it is.
Right.
Inside, ball 1.
I'll tell you enough.
That's right. A bunt down the first base line. Evans will not have a play at the plate, and he tags Oquendo out, but it's an RBI on the bunt by Jose Oquendo, and the Mets lead 1-0.
And this is a squeeze, but it's not a totally suicidal squeeze. Hodges didn't break right away, but Oquendo, in moving Giles to second base, which is one of the reasons he's bunting, but primarily it's to get Ron Hodges home. So a very interesting play here with first and third and nobody out. And the Mets take the lead 1-0.
And as you see, Giles, here's Eddie Lynch for strike 1. Grounded foul. There's a shot down the line, base hit, fair ball into the corner. Giles had to hold up, now comes around to score, and Ed Lynch will hold it first with an RBI single. It's 2-0 New York.
Well, a spiffy inning for the Mets. A clutch hit by Ed Lynch. And out of nowhere, Bryan giving up only 1 hit coming in. Eddie squeezes this. Well, you talk about a game of inches just inside the bag. And Giles scores easily. Nice play by Leonard in retrieving that ball. Kind of a neat little inning, isn't it?
It is.
Huh?
The bottom of the pitching coach is out. Mark Calvert in the bullpen for Danny. Leonard over to cut it off. Lynch will have to stop at second as Leonard gets the ball back in quickly. And a 2-out single by Hubie Brooks puts runners at first and second with 2 out.
Well, that's going to bring up Keith Hernandez now with the runner in scoring position. Hubie really stayed on that fork ball very, very well. Bryan blew him away in the first inning, and then Hubie grounded out. Hubie, he really went down and got that ball.
Third time up. Yeah. Here's Hernandez, and he lines one into right field. A base hit just past the diving Youngblood. Here comes Lynch. He's being held. The throw to the plate is a good one, and it's a good thing they held Lynch. He would have been out.
Steve Zabriskie, I mean, there is no way for Ed Lynch to score on this ball.
Sandwiched in there to Hernandez. Struck out the next. And George Foster will be the first batter Calvert will face with the bases loaded and 2 out here in the 5th. The Mets leading 2-0. There it is to left field. Is it deep enough? George Foster may have hit his 11th grand slam of his career. He has. On the first pitch, Foster's 21st home run of the year, a grand slam to left, and it is quickly 6-0 New York.
Oh, baby. Well, George Foster very, very happy, and credit Bobby Valentine for not sending Ed Lynch, because Lynch would have been out. George Foster is 2nd grand slam home run since the All-Star break, and as you said, his 11th lifetime. He is tied. That ties him for the active leadership with Dave Kingman, a little backup slider. On a normal day, that ball probably wouldn't have been out of here because the wind would have been blowing, but it's way out of here today. Dave Kingman with 11 grand slam home runs.
And here is Darryl Strawberry, former teams. Inside, and it's 2-0.
Kingman also with 11.
Then Strawberry walks. So the Mets have batted around here in the 5th inning. Strawberry, the 9th man to come to the plate, draws a walk. Those 3
was here today. Willie McCovey with 18 grand slam home runs. Most of them here in Candlestick. George.
Down low. Strike called. It's 2-1. Foul pitch out, but Strawberry not going, and it's 2-2 to try and get as many as you can. There's a base hit inside the line. It could be another double for Hodges. Strawberry going around to third, and now Clark can't pick the ball up as it gets in the dugout. Strawberry will score. Hodges going to third. Here comes the throw, and they won't make the relay. We'll see how they scored as it rattled around down there. Strawberry makes it 7-0, and Hodges winds up on third, still with 2 out.
Well, it's at least a double for Ron Hodges as he picks on this breaking ball inside, right inside the line. The Mets exploding for 7 runs here in the 5th. Now watch when Clark comes over. It's just landing there. He picks it up, can't get it, picks it up again. Now he doesn't know where to throw the ball. I've got to believe it's going to be an error on Jack Clark, because certainly Strawberry probably would have scored, but Hodges wouldn't have gone to third.
And that's how they've scored it. It is more in the series as Brian Giles scored 1 for 2. Popped up and playable behind the second base position for Joel Youngblood, and he makes the catch, and the inning is finally over. But the Mets have a big one. They score 7 runs on 7 hits. George Foster hits a grand slam home run. They send 11 men to the plate, and in the middle of the 5th inning, they lead 7-0. Now here's an example of racing away from Terrell and dying at the same time. And he has to put on a little extra burst of speed right in the middle to get to it, and makes a nice running backhanded stab.
He has got the gait. And is Lynch covering. What a great play by Keith Hernandez, his 2nd of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left here in the 5th inning. As you see this sparkling play by Keith Hernandez. And after 5 innings of play, it's 7-0 New York. Now here's a word from Oldsmobile. And Keith, a lot of action around that first base bag today. What a double play. Hernandez makes that 3-6-3 double play. Better than anybody I've ever seen.
First double play for the Mets this afternoon as Evans tries to pull a ball he shouldn't have tried to pull. And Hernandez, as you said, Keith, makes that as well as anybody, and then gets back to the bag to take the throw from Jose Oquendo. Ed Lynch says, all right.
No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left at the end of 6. 7-0 Mets. Now a word from Burger King.
It's Keith Hernandez taking over here in the top of the 7th as the leadoff batter. There you see the play at first base. And right now, there's a ball hit out to left field. Hernandez making the turn and trying for second base, and he goes in with a stand-up double. So Keith Hernandez, who had singled in the 5th inning, picks up his 2nd hit of this ball game as he doubles in the left center field. And the Mets continue against Rennie Martin, who has a record of 1-4. That'll bring up George Foster. Foster, who had struck out at first. It was Joe Rudy, and also with Johnny Bench.
The major league leader is Joe Rudy.
The score at the end of 6.5 innings, the Mets 7 and the Giants nothing. And he pops it up. Playable for Keith Hernandez. Keith over there makes the play, tagged up at 2nd, and bluffing it going to 3rd is Jack Clark. No one covering at 2nd. And now Clark turning and going back to the bag. As Joel Young and the swing and a miss. And the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's against the Mets. And the sinking fastball. Blood with a 2-2 count. And you finish the ball game. You can finish the ball game and get it. And he hits it out to right field. Strawberry will have to catch up to it. He cannot do that. And it is 1 hop off the fence. Coming around from 2nd is Jack Clark, and he scores. Going to 3rd base is Jeff Leonard, and he is now trying to score. And the throw by George Foster, who came in to trail the play, is in time at home plate, and a bad base running mistake by Jeff Leonard as Foster picked that ball up. Man back at 3rd. An outstanding play by Foster.
Just a great play. Strawberry cannot get to the ball as it goes off the wall. He makes a relay throw to Brian Giles, and Giles fires it to 3rd. The ball gets by Hubie Brooks, and there is George right there. Foster picks it up and throws it to Hodges, and they get the runner at the plate, Jeff Leonard, scoring it 9-4 to 5 to 7 to 2.
And a terrible base running mistake by Jeff Leonard. His team
all the way in from left field was very near the 3rd base coaching box.
And Youngblood in this game today. And there's a fly ball to left field. Foster is there. Glasses down, and he makes the catch, and that retires the side. In the inning, 1-run scoring on 3 hits, 1 man left, and the score at the end of 7. It's the Mets 7 and the Giants 1. And now word from Dotson
to make it a 7-2 game.
Home runs in each league in one season.
Right down there for a strike, and it's 3-2. Lamaster 3-2 pitch ripped to left. Foster will not be able to get to it. It falls in for a base hit. Second hit of the inning, a 1-out single by Lamaster.
7 base hits, so some stirring in the bullpen for the New York Mets.
Jesse Orosco. There he is. What a job Jess has done.
Mob.
Ground ball down the line. Hernandez goes to second for 1. Back to first to second. 3-6-3 double play that Hernandez has initiated. And after the home run and a 1-out single, Ed Lynch gets out of it on this.
And both of the 3-6-3 double plays, which are beautiful to watch. A good backhand there. Were hit into by Terrell Evans. So there it is, and that ends the inning. The Mets have turned 128 DP.
1 run on 2 hits will go to the 9th with the Mets leading 7-2. Now here's a word from Oldsmobile. Corner, strike 1. That's kind of funny, you know. You pitch popped up and playable in the infield. Hernandez calling for it, shading his eyes, and squeezes it. 1 out.
So Getty would like to congratulate Ed Lynch, the Getty star of the game. Ed performed miles ahead.
Ground ball foul outside. And a strike called. It's 0-2 now. Ed Lynch continues to show that. Fly ball right field. Strawberry coming in now. It slices away from him and falls foul. Only 33. Game. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball to third. Hubie Brooks waits for it, gets a good hop and fires. 2 away. A chance to pick up his first complete game, and this could do it. It does, as Brian Giles picks that ball right off the top of the ground before it can hit. A line drive ends it, and Ed Lynch goes the distance, giving up 2 runs on 8 hits, striking out 2 and walking none to push his record to 9-7, and he continues to be the most consistent starting pitcher for the New York Mets as he gives the bullpen a day off. And the Mets have taken the first 2 of this 3-game series in San Francisco. They win it this afternoon, 7-2. Ralph and I will be back with a wrap-up of today's game in just a minute, so stay with us. But now, here's a word from Oldsmobile.
It's Mike Torres with a record of 6-14, an earned run average of 4.16. And pitching for San Francisco, Atlee Hemaker with a record of 10-5.
Ground ball, it could be 2. Oquendo, Giles, strong throw. What a pick by Hernandez across the body. And a big double play ball thrown by Torres. What a pick by Hernandez.
Well, this is not an easy play for a first baseman. A backhand pickup of a throw in the dirt. Right here, Oquendo goes to Giles. Giles trying to get something extra on it, throws it in the dirt. And watch this backhand pickup. And you notice the glove was low, and it came up with the bounce of the ball.
Made 2 marvelous turns of double plays yesterday. 3-6-3. And a line drive. Oquendo, what a play. And Atlee Hemaker, his first at bat in a month, lines a 1-hopper to Oquendo on another nice play.
Well, this ball looks like it's going through. 1 hop up the middle. But Oquendo gets over there and cuts it off. And now he has the time to make the perfect throw to first base. And the side retires.
No runs, 1 hit from Michelob Light. Ground ball, left side. What a play, Brooks. Throws him out. Hubie Brooks. We have talked about his improvement at third, and that is a perfect example of it. What a play by Hubie. 1 away.
Well, when the Mets acquired Keith Hernandez, many people thought that they might have the best defensive infield potentially in the game. Hubie Brooks has improved play, and great reactions at third base are one of the main reasons why that could be true.
What a play by Hubie Brooks. Sparkling play. Ground ball, nice play on a short hop by Hernandez. So a good play at third, now a good play at first. The corners are hot.
Hamaker hits the ball sharply again. He's a little behind the ball and sort of slices it. Hernandez takes the short hop And again, Mike Torres hustling over and covering first nicely to get the play.
5, a pitcher's duel between Hammaker and Torres. 0-0. Now here's a word from Dotson.
Chile probably isn't used to playing here with the wind not blowing.
Chile's used to this park being like his name. Had my first major league at bat back in 1959. Ball hit well, might be out of here. And for the 3rd time in 3 days, George Foster has pounded his ex-teammates, and the Mets lead 1-0. 3rd home run in as many days for George Foster, his 22nd of the year.
Well, this is where you don't want to pitch George Foster. Right there. It's almost in exactly the same place as the grand slam home run he hit yesterday. He likes to get those arms out, and when George does, look out, because he can put some hurt on the baseball. He is really hot.
Here's Darryl Strawberry. Run by Foster. There were no errors and nobody left, and at the end of 5 1/2, it's the New York Mets 1 and the San Francisco Giants nothing. Breaking ball, ground ball to Brooks. At third base, nice pick once again by Keith Hernandez, and Jack Clark is stranded. 1 left here in the 6th, and after 6, the Mets
intentionally for the first time this year in the 2nd inning, struck out in the 5th. And this ball hit deep to left field. Going back is Leonard, and it is over the fence and out of the ballpark. Junior Jose Oquendo coming up with his first home run of the year, and the Mets lead by a score of 2-0.
What a thrill for Jose, his first major league home run. He has hit the Giants hard in every series this year, hitting .333 against them coming into the game. 1 for 2 officially in this ball game with his first major league home run, and that may be as far as he can hit a ball.
Well, it puts the Mets on top by a score of 2-0.
Ball right. Here's Jose's home run. Fastball right there, about thigh high, and Jose turns on it and puts all of his 148 pounds into the ball. Leonard makes a nice effort, but as you see, it's just a couple of feet past his glove. First major league dinger for Jose Oquendo.
Well, it's Junior Ortiz and Jose Oquendo all the time together. They speak Spanish.
When he came into the game in 71 innings of work coming into the ball game today, as Dusan brings the ball down to the dugout for Jose Oquendo.
And the fastball for ball 3, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, I can remember my first major league home run, and it's certainly something you'll never forget. Run on the home run by Oquendo, and no one left on base, and the score at the end of 6 1/2 innings. The Mets 2 and the Giants nothing. Again, the runners will be going. And again, the 3-2 pitch, and it's strike 3 called, and Mike Torres comes through with a big pitch to strike out LeMaster and end the inning.
Well, the crowd is booing, but this is just a beautiful breaking ball from Torres, right over the top with a curveball, and it breaks right in there on the inside part of the plate. LeMaster was frozen. Mentioned earlier.
Track with the Mets. Ground ball down to third. Darrell Evans bobbles it, loses it, and Foster will be on the air. There he goes on the run. It's a base hit. And now Foster able to go on to third as Strawberry singles up the middle.
Well, that makes me think that maybe the Giants had the sign.
Well, it doesn't really mean that much. Even if you throw over there, Foster is not noted for getting a big jump. You have to depend on the batter hitting the ball to get him to second base. Why throw over there? Even though he was running with a pitch on the 3-1 count.
Well, Darrell hit it sharply right back up the middle, and it would have been a base hit anyway, but in a 2-0 Mets lead, and runners at first and third with 2 out. Rusty, of course, the #1 pinch hitter in the National League with 18 pinch hits, 16 pinch hit RBIs.
As far up on that bat as he normally is. And he hits a line drive in the right center field, a base hit. It'll score 1, maybe 2. It will score 2. Foster first, and now Strawberry. And Rusty Staub comes in with a double and drives in 2 big ones, and the Mets lead 4-0.
Well, you just can't say enough about Rusty Staub 21 RBIs now on the year. 20 as a pinch hitter. On a 2-2 pitch up in the strike zone, he lines it, and Rusty does not get very many extra base hits unless they are home runs. Chili Davis playing shallow, as we mentioned earlier, and Darryl Strawberry with those long strides just loafed around from first base to score on the double by Staub, who will be lifted for a pinch runner, Bob Baylor.
And Baylor will stay in the ball game. Turned on 2 hits. There was 1 error, and 1 man was left at second base. And the score at the end of 7.5 innings, the Mets 4 and the Giants nothing. And now a word from Oldsmobile.
Now a word from 7-Eleven. Line drive, base hit, center field. Youngblood will score. Brenly going to third. Nicosia holds at first. It's 4-2 Mets with runners at first and third.
As Frank Howard first checks with a home plate umpire to make a double switch and then goes out to the mound.
Well, Jesse's coming in, and Danny Heap will go into the ball game to play the outfield. Danny just wants to know which position he's to go to.
Foster's going to go out of the game, and Danny Heap will go in to play left field. 1.18. And he'll be pitching to Johnny LeMaster.
Well, if the game should... 4-2, the Mets lead in the 9th with 1 out. The San Francisco Giants with runners at first and third. Ground ball off Orosco's glove. Could be 2. Not in time at first base. A run scores, and it's 4-3 Mets. Now with 2 out. And the Mets have a player down at second base.
It is Jose Oquendo. As we look at it again, Bettini coming in here, taking Jose out on the play. The throw dug out of the dirt by Keith Hernandez, but Oquendo taken out on the play by Joe Bettini.
Will play second. Bob Baylor will move to short.
Your attention, please. These changes in the Mets.
3-2.
And that is tough because now on 3-2, the runner will be running from first where he can score on a 2-base hit.
And LeMaster runs very well. Left. Very briskly. The runner goes, and the pitch is a called strike 3. Orosco gets him to end the ball game. Jesse does it again. A breaking ball on the outside corner sends Johnny Rabb and the Giants back to the clubhouse, and the Mets have swept San Francisco here in Candlestick Park for the first time since 1972, winning the ball game 4-3. 2 home runs in the game, 1 by Foster and 1 by Oquendo, and a big 2-run double by Rusty Staub pinch hitting. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a minute.
San Diego last night, Mets had their 3-game win streak snapped, lost to the Padres 4-3, despite 2 more home runs by Darryl Strawberry. He is now tied with Ron Swoboda for the club record for rookies. Here is Darryl, who now has 19, the most homers by a National League rookie. This in the 2nd, a long home run for Strawberry, but it was Rupert Jones, one-time Yankee, connecting in the 6th. This proved to be the winning run just out of the reach of Strawberry. Padres lead 4-2. Mets with a shot on the 9th with 1 on, 2 out, but Luis De Leon got Ron Hodges ending the game. Tonight in San Diego, Walt Terrell going against the Count, John Montefusco.
Base hit. So Mookie extending his hitting streak, quickly extending his hitting streak to 6 consecutive ball games, and that is his 11th hit in his last 20 at-bats.
Well, that's the way to do it, Ralph.
There goes Mookie, a great jump. They won't get him. No way at all. So Mookie going for stolen base number 41 and picking it. And he reaches out to tap the ball to the shortstop, Templeton, and he beats the play to first base. Templeton had an idea about throwing to third. He had no chance there, and the idea cost him. And he throws it away. A run will score, and now Brooks on down to second base, and the Mets lead 1-0 as Mookie Wilson scores on the air.
Ralph, I can't really believe that Montefusco is throwing to first base in the first place because Hubie Brooks has got a 3-foot lead.
So he now has 49, and he'll be working to Darryl Strawberry. Strawberry with 4 home runs against the Padres this year, and his batting average at .234. 19 home runs. That ties the club record for a rookie, originally set by Ron Swoboda. Mets leading 1-0, 2 men on, top of the first. Runner at second base, Hubie Brooks. And a line drive down the right field line. It'll be extra bases. A run will score. And Strawberry keeps it going. Down to second base. He's making a turn for third. Here's the throw, and he is out. Perfect relay throw by the second baseman, Juan Bonilla, and Strawberry thrown out at third.
A base running mistake by Strawberry in that you cannot make the third out at third base. You're in scoring position. And watch Tony Gwynn go into the corner, and he digs it out right away. So home advantage here is knowing what the ball's going to do out of the bullpen. Hits the wall, comes right back to him. Quickly, he gets it into Bonilla. Bonilla makes a perfect tag to third baseman, Luis Salazar. And boy, they drop that tag, and Terrell is out.
Well, the good news, Strawberry gets a run batted in, and the Mets lead by a score of 2-0. The bad news, he was thrown out. So 2 runs on 3 hits, no one left to score. And on the mound for the Mets, Walt Terrell with a record of 4-5. An earned run average of 3.65. He has no record against the Padres. And he tied a major league record for catcher Mickey Cochran's 42. Down to Hernandez, 3-6-3, a double play. And Hernandez makes this play as well as anybody ever did.
You're right, Ralph. No one makes it any better than Keith Hernandez. There are some fine fielding first basemen, but he's holding Kennedy on. This ball's hit right to him. He knows exactly what to do with it. A little advantage is that he's left-handed. He's also tagging first base with the wrong foot, but when
Terrell with an average of 0.95, he was 0 for 15 before he hit a base hit, and that was a home run. Followed it with another home run, so his 2 hits have been home runs.
Walt's still trying to get that 3rd home run of the year. He's got as many home runs as he's given up, which is a fantastic statistic.
Ball hit well to center field, way back. Rupert Jones isn't going to be able to catch this one as you speak, Buddy Harrelson. Walt Terrell comes the length of the fence, or the height of the fence, and hitting a ball out. I mean, he crushed that ball 400 feet to almost straightaway center field.
Well, it's home runs in Chicago where they're left center field, and here's a ball away from him, and that's exactly what he should look for at all times, and he should really concentrate on hitting the ball out in this area because it appears to be Walt Terrell's power alley, and he does have some sting in that bat. Of course, he's got some size to sting.
See the runners. Jones at second base, Salazar at first, 1 away. Ground ball, second base, could be 2. Nice play. Giles in the turn, big double play. Nice play by Brian Giles. I'm telling you, buddy, there's some fancy footwork here.
You betcha. This is a tough hop, and he stays right with it and comes up. He had good presentations, which means he had his glove there waiting for the ball that comes up. He gets it.
So another big double play ball. Tap left side. They're going to have to hurry. Nice play. Keith Hernandez cheating on the play. And there's going to be an argument here. Jack Kroll, the first base umpire, and Dick Williams and John McSherry right now.
He appears to push off the bag and meet the ball, and you know, you gotta, if you don't think you can get him, you gotta just watch the ball, and you know, he held it on there. He just stretched out. He was out.
Of course, is the ball in the glove right there, or is it Terry? He got him with an inside fastball. I mean, you talk about humping up. Walt Terrell blows Temple right away from that plate.
And he surprises Templeton by coming inside with that good fastball. Hits that inside, and Templeton just cannot pull the trigger.
Looking for something away, but Walt Terrell escapes damage here in the 6th inning. Cut, and that's why the Phillies didn't attempt to make a deal for him. But the guy pitching for the Padres tonight is reported. Oh, baby.
What a shot. Orosco's lucky he's on his feet. Boy, Terrell is showing some power with that bat. He really ripped that one.
It's his first single of the year.
2 home runs and a double, now his first single.
I mean, this ball right back through the wickets, and as you said, Montefiusco, not back, well, it's through the, doing a little, did you see that head go down and feet go up? He looked like he was curling into a little ball there.
He just said anything to Gwynn. And a ground ball to the shortstop. They'll have to hurry to get 2. They get 1, and they get the other. And so the Mets turn their 3rd double play. That's 134 for the season, and a big one.
And I'll tell you one thing, it's very tough, as you said, with Tony Gwynn running the way he can. The ball hit to Oquendo's right. He bobbles it a little bit, but a quick release by Giles. And they get Tony Gwynn this time easily at first base. No doubt about that one.
And there's no doubt about the fact that Giles,
Link,
one of the greatest hitters of all time, used the 42-inch bat.
Who's that?
Al Simmons. There's a ground ball to the shortstop. Templeton with a long throw. He has the arm to do it. The ball is on by the first baseman, Alan Wiggins, and it appears that he will get second base on the error. So,
in my opinion, the error should be given to Wiggins.
Base.
Looked like he had to strike a pitcher to a catcher.
So now a runner at second, and Keith Hernandez the batter, and he lines one into right center field, a base hit. Hubie holds to see whether or not it's going to drop in, and then moves to third, so he cannot score. And Hernandez has his third hit of the ball game, and as you pointed out, Tim, he has been a hot batter for the Mets.
He really has, and left-handers don't bother him. A little slider hanging in there tough, and boy, just at the last minute, those strong, quick hands just come through, and he had a rope to right center, and all Hubie can do is go to third base. Gary Lucas.
So the two-strike pitch on the way. And he lines it into center field, a base hit. So Foster comes through, and the Mets get another run. Hernandez trying for third base. He's been thrown out before, and this time he's in safely. And on the throw to third base, Foster goes on down to second.
It was good base running by George Foster and Keith Hernandez. Keith realizing the Mets now have a 3-run lead. And the thing that makes this a good play is that Hernandez had to hold up because he wasn't sure whether Bonilla was going to make the catch or not. But the ball's to Rupert Jones's left and to the right side of second, so Keith took advantage of that. Nice base running by both Hernandez and George Foster.
Well, the Mets have two left-hand batters with his post-game interview.
Shutout. And he's not calling it as much as Terrell is throwing it. I agree with that, but there's a certain thing between a pitcher and catcher. If they have it going on a certain night.
As he tries to tack on some more runs to a 3-0 lead.
Number 26.
And Gary Lucas back again, and there's a drive to left. That'll score 2. Coming around the score behind Hernandez is Foster, and the Mets have added on 2 as Kingman comes through with a big base hit, and the Mets are leading by a score of 5-0. So the moves by Frank Howard have worked. Kingman gets his 4th and 5th runs batted in.
Yes, sir, and as we've said so often, all we do is pose the situations for you, and we just pulled the right move here tonight. He has gone for the throat and apparently has cut the jugular.
They're bleeding a little bit. They go, and the pitch is hit to deep right center field. It's way back. Going, gone, goodbye. Walt Terrell, can you believe it? His 3rd home run of the year.
I'm telling you one thing, this is no cheapie right here. His 3rd base hit of the night. He has a single, a double, and a home run. And I don't believe it. No, I don't. His 3rd home run of the year. He has 5 base hits. 4 of them for extra bases, 3 home runs, and a double. And that for Walt, his 5th, 6th, and 7th RBIs of the year, and that's going to send him home.
Well, that is unreal.
Fastball right down Broadway, and I'll guarantee you, it's not any easy ballpark to hit a home run in. And he hits it way out of here, way up in the upper deck, about 6 rows back.
There was 1 error and no one left on base in the score. At the end of 7 1/2 innings, it is the Mets. And now Hernandez with a 1-strike count. He gets his base hit up the middle. That's his 4th hit of the ball game. He's 4 for 5. 3 straight hits up the middle, 1 into right center, and Hernandez really hitting the ball well.
And what a classic swing that was. And that is a major league record, right?
Ties a major league record. There's a drive out to right field. Could be gone. It's going, and it is caught by Darryl Strawberry. And Strawberry, I believe, took a home run away.
And that would have been his 1st home run of the season. Alan Wiggins with not a lot of power, and Darryl Strawberry, he really smokes this ball. Wiggins can't hit a ball any harder than that. And Darryl Strawberry actually jumps up and takes a home run away from him, I think. Yes, sir, that ball's out of here.
So the 6'6" Darryl Strawberry saving the shutout, preserving the shutout. And now the pitch. Ground ball back to the middle. It'll be the ball game. Bob Baylor has it. The throw to first base for the out. And that does it. In the inning for the Padres, they score 3 runs on 4 hits. And they leave 1. We'll be back with a recap in just a minute. The final score, it's the New York Mets 8 and the Padres 3. 1 to the Padres this year. And now for Brown, robbed of a base hit to extend his hitting streak to 16.
And Bobby Brown is going to have to wait. He probably thought he had one here, but Baylor, watch him stretch out. The luxury of second base, knowing that you can dive on a play like that and get up and still have time to throw a speedy almost in right field.
So Foster continues his strong hitting. Makes the turn at first base and holds there, and that'll bring up Darryl Strawberry, who's been tearing the cover off the ball against the Padres, hitting .364 against San Diego with 4 home runs. He's had 8 hits and 22 times up. And Strawberry, who was hitting .164 on June the 4th.
He hits the ball the right side, which means he's leaning that way. Lawler throws the pitch and has to fall towards third. And I'm telling you, when Mookie Wilson hits a ball on that right side, the pitcher better get there in a hurry.
Well, you notice now recover. Here's Hubie Brooks, a throw to Wilson. Ground ball by Salazar at third. Mookie's going to try to go to third, and he does easily. Good base running by Mookie Wilson. It'll probably be scored a base hit.
I'd have to think so, Timmy. That ball really handcuffed Salazar. That ball hit well.
Ate him up, didn't it?
And off a right-hander, it has a tendency to hook in this situation, and it just gets by him. He did not get a piece of it at all.
Yeah, it's got that top spin on it going toward the line. He also has 10 bases on balls. Fastball is high.
Here on May 15th against the Montreal Expos when he was with the Cardinals.
There's the strike along with Rupert Jones and Joe LaFay. Fastball is inside this year, so slider foul back 2-2. Things multiply. Fastball, it could be 2. Bonilla to Templeton, and they turn it. No RBI as Hubie Brooks does a good job taking out Templeton. But Gary Turner to cover first base in time against Wilson led to 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody. There's Billy Williams checking him out. You mentioned earlier, if looks would kill, boy. Oh, another one. How can that guy take it? Oh, a belly flop. Down for the count.
A new Met team record for a rookie, wiping out the record of this man, Ron Swoboda. Swoboda, one of the heroes of the miracle Mets season of 1969, and he hit 19 homers as a rookie back in '65. Now, where is Ron these days? He's a sportscaster at WVUE in New Orleans, and I asked Ron for his reaction to Darryl Strawberry about to erase him from the Met record book.
If you want a reaction, I mean, I'm surprised anybody even knew I had records left on the team. How do I feel about it? Well, I'd like to cut his throat. You know what I mean? I'd like to cut his throat. I mean, why couldn't it be a guy named John Steele? It had to be a guy named Darryl Strawberry. I mean, you know, what am I going to tell my kids? Don't bother me.
Yes, Frank, you can relate to that. Yes, tough days for Ron, facing up to erasure from the Met record book. Chuck Rainey of the Cubs nearly made it into the record books today, helped by plays like this. Dwayne Walker of the Reds with the drive. Mel Hall pulling off thievery. And Rainey had a perfect game going for 6. Walk in the 7th, stopping that bid. But Rainey was superb. It came down to this. 2 outs, 9th inning, no-hitter on the line. Rainey against Eddie Milner. And Milner rips the clean single, spoiling the no-hitter. Rainey finished with a 1-hitter. Cubs over the Reds 3-0. Rainey now 13-10.
They do score a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. And at the end of 5 complete innings of play here in San Diego, the Padres hit surge he has put on the last month.
Well, Mookie needs to do this more, too, and that's concentrate right-handed more up the middle with his speed.
Number 7,
this is one of those you want to catch, but you don't want to get killed either. Lawler.
The Mets have 2 home runs off of Lawler. Strawberry for 2 this evening. Fastball, just catch. Line drive, left field. Going to be in for extra bases. Can Mookie score? Valentine's going to send him. Throw by Templeton. Safe at home plate. What a great sequence of base running. Mookie Wilson hauling the mail all the way from first base. And, boy, he was moving coming around those bases.
Nobody hesitated. Bobby Valentine was waving him all the way. Mookie had the intention of scoring as soon as that ball was hit. He never hesitated. This is a sprint. The race is on now, folks. And the winner is Mookie Wilson. Very dangerous head-first slide there, too.
Into those catcher shin guards. Very, very dangerous play. I think the key point in this inning, though, is that I do not agree with, which doesn't make, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen, but I mean, how in the world Salazar swinging the bat as well as he, well, now it's a strikeout, and Jones will have to go back to third base.
Well, he simply bunts on the top of this ball trying to get it down, and it goes down and catches Junior Ortiz, and he is down. He's hurting.
Ball looked like it hit him on the knee, Bud. Right on the top of the knee.
It did.
Hammer. Because with all that spin, that is really a painful thing. Mookie Wilson, by the way, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. And at the end of 6 complete innings of play here in San Diego, the Padres threw. But not so my colleague back for the play-by-play, Ralph Kiner. Ralph, this guy's great, isn't he?
He wouldn't take that money. There's no way. What a costume. The strikes down to second base, finally throws one out.
Boy, you got that exactly right. He has thrown exceptionally well tonight and has only one caught stealing to show for it. This AP to second base. What a bullet. And the thing is, it had to be right there.
He's getting a lot. Good play by Hernandez, and that ends the inning. So the threat turned back for stealing second, and a man left at second, and the score.
Going to the West, Giants in first of 3, start of a 14-game homestand, a homestand that should produce home run number 20 for Darryl Strawberry, which will set a new Met team record. What a turn by Darryl, hitting 161 back in June, 202 at the All-Star break. He's now up to 233 and climbing, and has been producing runs to the point where he is now a bona fide candidate for Rookie of the Year honors.
To keep sharp objects away from bombing at the hands of the Giants, Mike Torres is coming off a disappointment of not going to the Yankees. John Montefusco was the guy Billy Martin picked up, so what to expect at Shea? How about this? Darryl Strawberry in the 4th inning. 2-run homer off Atlee Hammaker. It's his 20th breaking Ron Swoboda's standard set in 1965. Yes, Met magic indeed. Torres pitched well after a shaky start, got the win after being relieved in the 6th by Jesse Orosco. Jesse gave up his first earned run after 27 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings. Jeff Leonard hit a home run in the 8th. But Strawberry did it again in the bottom of the inning, his 21st of the year, deep to center field, and the Mets beat the Giants 6-3. In Pittsburgh, Bill Madlock hit
pitching for San Francisco with a record, and going for the New York Mets with a record of 7-14, an earned run average of 4.12, Mike Torres. The virtual tie, that is. The Expos 2.5 games back, as well as the Cardinals. The Cubs are 9.5 out, and the Mets are 13. Inning, the Giants 2, and the Mets coming up. Now here's night 2 for 4, and both of his hits were infield base hits. Hammaker with a breaking ball. Mookie lines it down the left field side. He's trying for 2. The throw by Leonard is high, and Mookie goes in with a double.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing about Mookie right here, he doesn't wait until he gets to first base to try to get a double. He really busted right out of the batter's box. A lot of runners will take their time getting to first, and by the time they make their turn, it's too late to try to go to second. Mookie knew that ball was a double. Watch him get out of the box in a hurry. Gets out of the box like he's frightened. I mean, he gets it coming out of the box, and that's what he stretched the single into a double when he left the box, not when he hit first base.
No doubt about it. And Mookie Wilson hitting .229, batting from the right-hand side. And that ball, a wild pitch, and Mookie coasting over to third base. So the Mets now runner at third with no one out. They trail by a score of 2-0.
The run and take the out for the run.
Baylor bounces the ball slowly to the shortstop, Lemaster. A run scores, and the throw is wide, and Evans cannot make the tag. That'll be an error on Lemaster, his first error in his last 29 ball games.
And only a second error in his last 37 games. This ball takes a funny hop right there. It went to the right, and I think that confused Lemaster a little bit. He makes a bad throw, but Baylor hustling all the way and not anticipating an out really beat the throw. But it is a wide throw. As you said, Lemaster's first error in 28 ball games.
72 games without an error by Ed Brinkman. And another one in the dirt. Baylor going for second, another wild pitch. So the Mets.
Well, I think pound for pound, because his foot hits the ground before his arm comes around.
There goes Baylor, and the ball goes right down by Nicosia. Baylor gets up and holds at third. So Baylor steals third base, and the Mets now have the tying run 90 feet away.
And it's different catching them than it is hitting against them.
And there's a base hit to center field. The ball game is tied. Baylor comes in to score the tying run. Edgar Hernandez extends his hitting streak to 8 consecutive ball games.
I'll tell you what I'd do if I were Hamaker. I'd get that ball out of the ball game. That ball's jumping all over the place out there. The green light with Key, 3-0 against the left-hander. It shows you the incredible ability Hernandez has. He doesn't try to pull the ball. He hits a rope to left center, and that's his 53rd RBI of the year. Right.
So the Mets now have tied it up quickly. Look out. And Foster hit on the shoulder, and Hamaker, who has impeccable control, hits George Foster, and that moves Hernandez down to second base.
Well, the Giants have been trying to pitch Foster in. Foster's murdered the Giant pitching this year. He had a hit last night's ball game. He has 5 home runs and 12 RBIs against the Giants, and you have to tie up George. And whenever you're vulnerable inside, something like this is bound to happen. And unfortunately, I'm sure.
Had 7 home runs and 12 runs batted in his last 24 games, hitting .230 now with 19 home runs. And there was 1 error and 1 man left. And the score at the end of 1, the Giants 2 and the Mets 2. Now here's a word from manufacturer. The ball about where he wants to.
Right down the middle, and a line shot past Youngblood, base hit into center field. So Foster beats the shift with a leadoff single here in the 4th.
And he extends his hitting streak to 10 consecutive ball games, his longest as a Met. And right here, the 3-2 pitch, and it's out over the plate, and Foster gets on it and hits it right by the second baseman, Youngblood, playing on the shortstop side.
So George at first with nobody out, and here is Darryl Strawberry, who grounded into a force play, reaching. And as you see, leading all National League rookies with his 19 home runs, and that may be another one deep into the night. Darryl Strawberry with a 2-run shot, his 20th of the year. It's 4-2 Mets.
Strawberry sets a new Met record for home runs by a rookie player as he hits his 20th home run. He had been tied with Ron Swoboda, and there was no doubt about it. The Giants had been pitching him fastballs throughout this series. They had not thrown him anything but fastballs yesterday, and here he gets on a fastball and drives it to deep right field, and there's the reaction by Hamaker. He doesn't seem too impressed, but Strawberry impressing everybody. In his last 25 games, he has hit 8 home runs.
Brian Giles, the batter, takes a strike. Darryl told me before the game around the batting cage that he expected Hamaker to try and bust him with fastballs, and that he was going to show Hamaker he couldn't do it. He certainly did just that.
Well, that proves one thing about good hitters. You can't stay with the pattern that works for a while, because sooner or later they'll get on you. As you look at Darryl Strawberry, and he is having a sensational year.
Terrell has given the Mets a 4-2 lead at the end of 4 innings of play. Here's a word from Kodak. A lengthy delivery to the plate, and that obviously helps the base runner. Ground ball over Hernandez. He makes the play to Torres, covering in time, and LeMaster goes to third base. Nice play by Hernandez and Mike Torres.
Well, the accolades might even be stronger than that because it was an outstanding play. Looked like it was going to be chopped over the head of Hernandez, but he turns and goes back and then makes a fine jumping catch over the shoulder and then turns and fires to Torres just in time as Venable tries to beat the play with a slide. You really don't gain any ground by sliding. Better off to stay on your feet, and Hernandez even slipped as he made that throw. So an outstanding play by Hernandez one more time. Ground ball to third. They can have a double play. There's one and the other. So Bob Baylor starting the double play around the horn, going to Giles, and Giles on to Hernandez.
Taylor made hard-hit ground ball right at Bob Baylor. He took one step to his right, fires it on to Brian Giles, who turns it nicely and makes a perfect throw to Hernandez. On the 5-4-3 DP, Baylor, of course, playing third base again tonight for the second night in a row in place of Hubie Brooks.
33, and he has struck out 69, and he has allowed only one home run. Now, if you recall back in San Francisco, Bergman was up to bunt against Orosco and bunted at 2 balls and missed them, and he was taken out.
Well, he's been taken out again because Bob Brenly is now out on deck. So apparently...
I mean, you're talking about the #1 man possibly in baseball, certainly in the National League at this point. And it's out to left field. Here comes Foster. He's there, and Orosco gets him out. So Orosco does the job. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left on base. And the score at the end of 5.5 innings, it is the Mets 4 and the...
By Patini. Swing and a miss. He got him. Fastball struck him right on out of there. So Orosco, after falling behind, comes back and gets Patini with the heater.
And that's all it is. Jesse with a great live arm and a fine fastball blows it right by Little Joe.
And Johnny LeMaster, the April, and he's worked 3 2/3. So as fresh as he is, he shows right there with El Swervo, second strikeout in a row for Orosco. And that's a key. Now, if he was working 3 out of the last 4 days, I'd say no way. But the
chance to win the ball game, who else are you going to go to other than Jesse as we look at his delivery and how he really whipped
to get another breaking ball here. He does, and it's really a mistake, but it jams Evan. And you got to feel like you've won a moral victory as a left-handed hitter by making contact off of Jesse Orosco. That's how good he's been. No runs, no hits, 1 error and 2 left in the 7th. And after 6.5 here at Shea, the Mets enjoy a 4-2 lead.
That hard as a rock.
Like concrete. Ground ball left side, another high chopper, and LeMaster can't come up with it. Well, how do you figure this game? LeMaster comes in the game tonight, 28 errorless consecutive games, and he's made 2 on quite routine out for Minton. But the Mets come up with an unearned run, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 left. And at the end of 7 innings of play, the Mets 5 and the Giants 4.
But it's 5-3 the Mets as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Darryl Strawberry, whose 2-run home run is the difference in the ball game, leads it off. Greg Minton working in relief of Atlee Hammaker, who can only be his 20th of the year back in the 4th inning. And a monstrous shot to deep center field. Venable going back, and it's out of here. Second home run of the night for Darryl as he leads off the 8th with his 21st of the year.
That is the 4th time this year Darryl Strawberry has hit 2 home runs in a ball game. And you got to keep in mind that he hit it off Greg Minton, who from 1978 to 1981 didn't give up a home run. He holds the record for consecutive innings
innings pitched without yielding a home run, 269 1/3. Now take a look at this swing. Oh, boy, what bat speed. Boom. He doesn't try to pull it. Hits it out in center field. 21st home run of the year. Boy, his future is ahead of him.
I've always enjoyed that line.
Where right at you, and as a result, that lower half just bails out.
And he did it again. And broke it right in there for called strike 3. Orosco picks up his 4th strikeout in less than 3 innings.
This is not an embarrassment to be struck out by this man. I mean, he has announcers all over the league bailing out. If you're a left-handed hitter, if you were, now watch him drop down about 3/4. Now he picks up the target, and that tremendous El Swervo of his takes care of the rest. I mean, he is nasty.
Against Orosco, and now Kuiper, a pinch hitter. Ground ball to second. Brian Giles eats it up and throws him out. 2 out in the 9th. And another breaking ball. Bloop to shortstop. Oquendo right there. The game is over. Jesse Orosco picks up his 15th save. And again works an excellent outing, giving up only 1 run and 1 hit, the home run to Jeff Leonard. The win goes to Mike Torres. His record now 8-14. Atlee Hammaker loses his 2nd game in a row since coming back off the disabled list. Hammaker's record now 10-7. Well, Tim and I will be back with a wrap-up in just a minute. And Kiner's Corner will follow here on WOR. The final again, the Mets 6, the Giants 3, with the rubber game to come tomorrow afternoon here on Channel 9. We'll be back after this word from Manufacturers Hanover.
Nothing but fastballs until he hit a 2nd home run, 1st home run.
The handicap, he can't come inside to Strawberry because his ball really straightens out if he does. Inside, base hit, right field line. Well, if that ball didn't straighten out, that's why Barr has to keep the ball away. And that's why it's so damaging to a pitcher when he goes away from his strength, Ralph Kiner.
Right, and Barr hasn't got a pitch really to get Strawberry out because he can only pitch away. And this one, when he tried to come inside, and he was on the inside corner with that fastball, is really ripped down the right field line. So Strawberry picks up a run batted in. And for Terrell, that is his 56th run batted in. And he is right in there. Here's the swing. He makes a stride forward. Bat back. That's the main thing. Hands back. And then he comes in on the ball with a perfect swing. And that's why he is such a talented ball player.
The 9-year-old left-hander finally get his 200th. Coos cruised over Texas to become one of just 10 active pitchers to reach that milestone. Smith surprised everyone, including the Astros. Standing off 3rd base, his lead kept getting longer and longer. A steal of home for the #1 Ozzie Smith. And wait, it's the Mets against the Dodgers. Runners at 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Shortstop Bob Bailey throws home to Mets catcher Ron Hodges, who alertly runs Greg Brock back to 3rd. But Darrell Thomas is already there. Tag Brock. Shucks, he's on the bag. Where's Thomas? Where's the runner at 1st? I know where Brock is. Where am I? 11 years as a catcher for the Mets, and I never saw a play like that. Here I am with the ball and without any call. Oh, well, at least we've set up the double play. Well, teammate George Foster had some National League pitchers looking mighty confused lately. Recipient of our pennant chase National League Player of the Week, the 33-year-old Mets slugger went to town hitting a grand slam homer against the Cubs. Then against his first big league team, the Giants, Foster hit his 2nd grand slam of the week, a 2-run homer, and drove in the game winner as the Mets took 3 straight from San Francisco. That's one way to haunt a former team.
Incurred some shoulder problems there. Fimple with another base hit up the middle. What a play by Oquendo. They get him. Oh, boy, I can't believe it. That's why you never anticipate. As an announcer, as a player, and Oquendo doesn't anticipate here.
Well, Jose doesn't doesn't even quit on this ball. He's gone all the way. You never know. If you dive for it, you got a chance. And look how fast Jose gets up, and a perfect throw. And what an ovation from the home fans here.
I cannot believe this is a base hit. The ball was hit to Oquendo's left. He dives for it, and what a throw after he recovers. Some kind of play. And here's Bob Welch. Welch on an... Well, a good piece of hitting by Marshall. Pretty good slider, and Strawberry makes the catch. And the throw home is down the third base side. Oh, boy. Dusty Baker slamming into Ron Hodges. Did he touch the plate? I think the ball was going to be close to home, and a great throw by Strawberry.
Strawberry has a lot of carry on his throw. He runs up on this one, which is the only way. He may take one too many steps. Let's look at Terrell. He gets the ball, and I think he takes one too many steps. Look at the carry he gets. I thought there was no chance on this, and it's a tough, close play at home plate.
Toughest play for a catcher here, with the runner coming from one way and the ball from the other. You have no idea where that runner is, and believe me, it takes courage, and Ron Hodges exhibits such on that play. But 5 in his last 8 starts. Ball hit well, right field. Way back. Out of here. Home run, Keith Hernandez. A diving Mike Marshall couldn't get to it, and Keith Hernandez hits his 10th home run of the year, and the Mets are off the Snyder.
Keith Hernandez off with a fastball for a ball and comes right back with a fastball. And even though he's got a 4-run lead, he still has to keep throwing that knuckle curveball. And Mike Marshall barely missed that ball as it goes into the bullpen. Got back to the wall and used the wall to jump off of. We see Jesse Orosco trying to do the hat trick.
Yeah, right. 10th home run of the year for Hernandez, his 54th RBI.
Fernando Valenzuela pitches for L.A., Mike Torres for the Mets. Last night, the Mets split a doubleheader with the Dodgers as Jesse Orosco picked up his 12th win of the season. Here's Orosco in the 8th inning of the game. Game one, Dodgers threatening with 2 out and 2 on, score tied 2-2, but Jose Morales goes down swinging, and in fact, Orosco strikes out the side. 9th inning now, Mets up 3-2. Steve Sachs on second for the Dodgers, 2 out, and Orosco gets Bill Russell to bounce out to Hubie Brooks at third, and that's the final out of the game. Orosco has his 12th win. The standings now going into tonight's game.
A good pitching at Shea last night, but the best they could do was a split, winning 3-2 and losing 2-1. Let's go to the videotape of the first game. 2-2, bottom of the 8th, 2 on, 2 out. And Ron Hodges comes through with a base hit. Hubie scores, 3-2 Mets win it. Orosco now 12-5, most wins ever by a Met relief pitcher. But the Mets lose 2-1 in the second game. As month of August, here we go. First of all, the catch of the month, 3-way tie between Tony Armas of the Red Sox, Candy Maldonado of the Dodgers, and Mel Hall of the Cubs, the catches of the month. The best juggling catch by a third baseman, Bill Stein of Texas. Look at that, over the back.
The score of 3-2. It was Keith Hernandez with the home run stroke. This his 11th, his second within 24 hours, helping the Mets come back from a 2-0 deficit. And Ron Hodges with what turned out to be the game-winning hit. RBI single in the 8th, scoring Hubie Brooks. Jesse Orosco did it again. 2 hitless innings, picked up the win. He's now 12-5, 8 straight wins for Jesse. Dodgers took the second game. Rookie Greg Brock, game-winning RBI, base hit, scoring Pedro Guerrero. 2 in the first, turning out to be all that was needed by L.A.'s former Met Pat Zachary in his first ever Dodgers start pitched blanks over 6 for the win. He's now 5-0. Dodgers won the second.
Throw to second. There's no doubt about it as Bader takes the throw. That's the 7th time that Russell's been thrown out this year in 17 attempts. Fine throw by Ortiz.
As he does, as you look at the runners at first and second, they do try to pitch him away. Down and in that time for strike 3. Third strikeout for Mike Torres as he pitches out of mild trouble here in the 4th inning. In the middle of the 4th, 1-0 Los Angeles. Now here's a... He can run well, and he's headed for third, and he may score as Marshall's just picking the ball up. Here comes Bradley to home. and the throw will never be in time, and inside the Parker for Mark Bradley, and we're tied at 1-1.
Well, the decision by Mike Marshall in right field to try and catch it costs Valenzuela a shutout as Marshall comes over there and he thinks he can make it. And he's far short. And by the time he gets to it, Bradley comes all the way around to score. An inside the park home run in far contrast to his other home run against Valenzuela when he hit it out of the ballpark. And Cadillac around, it took him forever to go around the bases.
Well, if you added the two together and divided by 2, it'd come out to be a normal home run trot, I guess.
Be about even. That's right. Inside the Parker.
Mark's 3rd home run of the year and his 5th RBI as he gets a chuckle about it and catches safe at first. Another base hit, an infield variety this time.
Well, Valenzuela, normally a fine fielder, just doesn't get his glove into that one. So Baylor, who had grounded out, gets a base hit. The Mets now have had 3 base hits off Valenzuela.
And a pitch out, but Baylor running, swing and a miss. And the throw right there, but Sachs doesn't handle it, and he pushes Baylor off the bag. Still can't come up with the ball, however, and Baylor picks up his 14th stolen base, although it was a good throw by Yeager.
Perfect throw by Yeager. Sachs cannot hold on to it. And Baylor coming in just takes it right out of his glove. He 1, 2, 3, just 3 steps on that attempt, which counts for the fact the ball bit him to the bag. And if Sachs had held on to that ball, he would have been out.
So Bob's at second now with 1 out, and 1-1 the count on Ortiz, who grounds one.
Charge to Sachs. And for Baylor, that is his 14th and 17 attempts.
Strike 3 called. And here is Jose Sachs to catch his pop-up in short. And now they're going to put Jose on. Fernando struck out 10. And Mike with an opportunity and runners at first and second, and a ball game tied 1-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. A futile swing. High and away. It's 1-0.
He should have.
He needs help. And a fastball right in there. It's 2-2.
Able to hit.
Fouled off Yeager's bare hand. And the breaking ball fouled off. It's 2 starts. Low and away. 3-2.
And Valenzuela was on his way to.
There they go, and it's fouled hard. Runners going again, and there's a line shot. Base hit center field. Baylor will score. Oquendo to third, and the Mets lead 2-1.
Well, Mike Torres wins the battle. He got the count to 3-2. He fouled off a fastball. And he got another fastball and punches it into center field. And the Mets take the lead as Mike Torres gets his 2nd run batted into the year. Baylor coming in to score from second base. And the Mets lead in this ball game 2-1. Here's the swing. It's not classic, but it does the job. Just gets the bat in the ball. And they say if you swing, you're dangerous.
You never know what can happen. A smile on the first base's face, Ed Vargo. Only Mike's 3rd hit of the year. Runners at first and third, and Mookie Wilson, who was 1 for 2. Strike 15 of his last 19. And well hit to left field. That ball's out of here. A 3-run home run for Mookie Wilson, his 5th of the year. And all of a sudden, the Mets unload on Fernando.
Mookie Wilson has only 4 home runs before this swing. But he has hit one of the big ones of the year here as he hits a 3-run home run off Fernando Valenzuela. Mookie goes out and gets it. It looked like a fastball. And there was no doubt about it. For Mookie Wilson, his 42nd, 43rd, and 44th RBIs. And now it's Hubie Brooks.
With the 3-run home run, extending the Mets lead to 5-1. All 5 runs coming here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And that ball's well hit to right center field. Marshall back on the track, but it is Landreau who makes the catch on the warning track. 2 home runs in the inning, a 3-run shot by Mookie and an inside the park home run by Bradley. 5-run score, and it's 5.
Foster goes to second base and holds there, and Baylor comes up with his 2nd hit of the game.
Well, as they say, this one had eyes. Bounds it right in front of that plate on that hard dirt, and then it has overspin, so it just takes an extra.
Ortiz in this game is 0 for 2. And the fastball
on July 16th.
And the Cowboys has moved in his starting rotation. He pitched a strong game last night against the Dodgers. Out the right field, a base hit. 1 run will score. Ball coming into the infield. Another run will be sent in. Here's a throw to the plate, and Yeager tags out by Baylor. So the out at home plate ends the inning, but the Mets get another.
Junior Ortiz going with the pitch and hits a line drive to drive in the 6th run of the night as Foster scores from second. And with 2 out and a lead, Baylor is waved on. Landreau made a throw into second base, but then a fine relay and a fine play by Yeager as he scooped that ball out of the dirt to get the.
Get 1 run on 3 hits, and 1 man was left on in the score. At the end of 5, it's the Mets 6 and the Dodgers. Wilson in center field will capture it, and that ends the inning. 1 hit and 1 man left, and the score at the end of 5.5 innings, the Mets 6 and the Dodgers 1. Now here's a word from. It's off the glove of Russell, the shortstop, covering there, and Oquendo goes on to 3rd. So everything happening to the Dodgers there.
Well, Mike Torres is going to be credited with a sacrifice, and there will be an error on the play, and I don't know who they're going to give it to, but I think they ought to give it to Russell, because I think he should have caught the ball. He tried to stretch in an effort to get the play, which was going to be close anyway. Even though Fernando made a good play, Russell goes down and the ball goes over his glove. Had he stayed up, he would have caught the ball. Oquendo still would have been safe and not been able to advance to 3rd.
So anyway, we'll wait and see how they charge it. The error, of course, allowing the runner to go to 3rd. It'll be a fielder's choice and a side that Oquendo had beaten the throw to second base. And now the batter, Mookie Wilson, and Mookie, the infield back at 1st, 2nd, and short. And the fastball a ball. 1 ball.
The opportunity to get way off the bag.
Dodgers set back looking for the double play. A hard double play to get with Mookie Wilson, the batter. And it's grounded out to 3rd, but it's foul.
Fashion.
Playing their infield back for the double play. They're trailing by 5. Here's the pitch, and it's fouled back out.
Disadvantage, you would want to keep it where it is.
And Mookie swings and misses. Hubie 0 for 2 have their infield back at double play depth. And the first pitch is in there, a breaking ball.
That ended the big 5-run inning for the Mets.
And Hubie going for 1. It is the Mets 6 and the Dodgers 1. 1 man out, bottom of the 6th inning. Fastball, that's just inside. And he swings and misses, strike 3, and he. And that's ball 1. 1-0 pitch, again low, 2 bases, Mike Torres, and a strike call. The Dodgers remain a game and a half in front. Slice down the left field line. If it's fair, it's a hit, a fair ball. Oquendo comes in to score. Going to 3rd base is Mike Torres, and Hernandez pulls up with a double, and the Mets lead by a score of 7-1.
Keith with his 56th RBI of the year. A big clutch base hit to extend the lead, and a nice play by Baker, or it could have been another run and a triple for Hernandez as Baker cuts the ball off. Chance for the Los Angeles Dodgers with the Mets holding on to a 7-1 lead. Now here's your money. Game is history. Strike 3 as Mike Terrell strikes out 5, picks up his 5th complete game and moves his record to 9-14 as the New York Mets take the final game of this 5-game series 7-1 over the Los Angeles Dodgers, and with Atlanta losing, the Dodgers remain a game and a half out in front of Atlanta in the National League West. The loser in the game, Fernando Valenzuela, his record is now 13-8 as Mike receives congratulations for a complete game victory. Tim and I will be back with a wrap-up here at Shea in just a minute. Ralph Kiner will follow with Kiner's Corner, but now stay tuned. We'll be back after this word from Michelob Light.
ERA. He's 1-0 against the Padres this year. And in that game, Walt hit a 3-run home run and got 3 hits with 4 RBIs.
And that ends the inning. Fine job by Keith Hernandez and Walt Terrell as he took the cover throw back to first base. So 2 hits and penning. The Padres nothing. The Mets coming up. Now here's a word from Dotson. That John Stearns has been activated. He's only available for pinch running duty.
Occasional pinch hitting, but obviously no throwing as operated on. There's John. What a devastating blow it was to the Mets to have that man out all year.
And now we go to...
Oh, it really appeared to have some downward movement, and it did, out of the strike zone down. And that's Terrell's best pitch.
Play Tim McCarver.
All right, Ralph Kiner, thank you very much. You talk about prizes to be won every week at our good old Guys showroom. The Mets have themselves a prize rookie right here, Darryl Strawberry. Even though it's average since the middle of June, was a matter of fact, the All-Star break, he was batting .202.
Kennedy, the ball in the dirt. Kennedy not known for his defensive ability and no chance at all for a play there. Let's count the steps. 1, 2, 3. About 3.5 steps, and Baylor gets it going a little bit better than Strawberry, and he beats the throw down there. Even
runner at second with 1 out. Slider gets Ortiz. He has thrown out coming into this game only 57 out of 180 base runners that have attempted to steal. That is not a good ratio. I'd say below 30%.
Jumps too.
Fast. But I think it opened a lot of eyes. And, of course, Lou Brock's fabulous career. Ricky Henderson last year, 130 stolen bases. That's an excellent point. I've never really thought about that. Fastball inside.
I'll just hear on TV earlier.
12 years old from Marietta, Georgia. Base hit, left field line. Baylor scores easily. And Jose Oquendo pulls into second base with a stand-up double. Jose's 17th RBI of the year, and the Mets lead 1-0.
Jose Oquendo in his last 15 games hitting .300, and this is one of the reasons why he takes that fastball, gets out in front, pulls it down the line. No chance at all for Bobby Brown to get to it. Baylor has an easy job scoring. The Mets lead 1-0 as Oquendo comes up with his...
Against the Padres, plus Williams had a Terrell hit over there. Had a 3-run homer and 3 hits. Jams him with a slider. It might drop, and it does. Oquendo scores, and Walt Terrell has his 8th RBI of the year, and he continues to help his cause. Mets lead 2-0.
Well, it wasn't too pretty, but it certainly was effective. Walt Terrell gets hit on the fist with that pitch. He puts a pretty good swing on it, and he drops it into the area that cannot be defended. Texas Leaguer into center field, and the Mets now lead 2-0 as Oquendo scores.
Front of Brown. And Mookie makes the play. There's going to be a play at first, but it's going to be late. And Oquendo over to Baylor. Oh, boy. Baylor playing Kennedy to pull. Just made the play at second base. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 left. Example of Wiggins' inexperience at first base. He went to first. Now, I doubt that he would have had a play, Ralph, but a first in the hole.
As soon as this ball was hit, he broke to the bag at first base, and no chance for the second baseman to get to it. So as you see, Wiggins going to the bag as a ball. I don't believe he could have got to that ball anyway. But it's just a little bit of the technical part of baseball that you see in.
And Darryl Strawberry, the batter. Darryl walked and was caught stealing his first time up. A good against this hometown ball club, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hadn't fared too well. Another strike. Something away. Shea does not want to come inside. There goes Hernandez. Ball hit well to right field. Fair or foul? Foul ball.
On top of it, just a shade in front of it. Boy, there's some great bat position right there. Now the move through the ball. That's quick.
Well, that's a nice swing, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
He has 8 stolen bases this year. He's been caught 4 times. Another slider miss hitter. He looks in zones. And he zones this one down the left field line. Hernandez may score on this ball. He's going to be waved home by Valentine. Strawberry to third. Safe at third base. Hernandez scores. The Mets lead 3-0. 58th RBI for Terrell Strawberry and his 6th triple. Oh, baby.
Well, he goes with this pitch. It's a fine piece of hitting. He got the fastball. It was breaking away from him, and he went with it, and the left fielder shaded over in right and left center, and he has a long way to go. Now, all kinds of trouble out there by Bobby Brown trying to pick it up. Hernandez comes in to score, and the Mets make it 3-0. Strawberry beats the throw into third. As you look at Bobby Valentine.
Trying to help him, what?
Yeah. Oh, there it is right there. That's what you call using all of the field, wall to wall. He pulled one foul down the right field side on an inside breaking ball, and then with the fastball outside, he went with it. That's one of the things that Terrell can do. He can hit that ball a long way to left. And right here, he comes up with a 3-base hit.
Infield in with Bob Baylor. It's a squeeze, and it's going to work perfectly. Bob Baylor's out at first base. First pitch squeezing. And the Mets now lead it 4-0. Bob Baylor with his 28th RBI of the year. Excuse me, Ralph.
I was going to say, this is a pet play of Dick Williams, the manager of the Padres, and the Mets use it against him. And it's executed perfectly. Shea disgustedly throws the ball to first base to pick up the out. And the Mets now lead as they score their 2nd run of the inning by a score of 4-0.
2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left. And at the end of 3, the Mets enjoy a 4-0 lead. Now here's a word from...
Forgetting that he was a
7-3. Walt Terrell evened his record to 6-6, and the Terror also chimed in with another RBI, his 8th on 7 hits this year. Darryl Strawberry clinched the battle with his 22nd homer of the year, well over 400 feet from home. Did it against a lefty, Sid Manji. 4 RBIs, 3 for 3 night, including a triple for Darryl, and the same 2 teams meet tonight at Shea at 7.
Is continuing his surge to nail down Rookie of the Year honors. Now, earlier in the year, I would have said Craig McMurtry of Atlanta, Greg Brock of Los Angeles, front runners. But Darryl has to be the leader now, and I'm sure San Diego would agree. 3rd inning last night, Mets lead the Padres 2-0. Keith Hernandez on. Darryl goes the opposite way over Eric Shea. This one into the left field corner. Hernandez is pumping around. He gets the green light, going to come around and score. And Darryl motors into third with a triple. Mets lead 3-0. In the 7th, Strawberry versus Sid Manji. And this pitch, oh, look at it. High, deep, and goodbye. 22nd of the year for Darryl. Mets over the Padres 7-3. So the Mets and San Diego go again tonight at Shea. It's Tom Seaver going against Tim Lawler.
Tom Seaver, who has won 7 and lost 13 with an earned run average of 3.74. And the presentation. Beautiful shot of Jesse Orosco, who also received additional honors. He was voted the pitcher of the month of August for his outstanding performance for the New York Mets.
And he was voted the player of the week for 2 weeks in a row. Fastball from Tom.
And struck out on 3 pitches. So Seaver off to a fast start.
Seaver wearing that knee pad on his right knee, and that's because he drags that right knee on the clip.
And batting .253 this year with 3 home runs and 31 RBIs, and that one fouled into the stand, strike 2. So again, Seaver out. And he missed it. Fastball again fouled off.
Stands out, and I don't know why.
And this should be a double play. There's one and the other, and Seaver gets out of it with only 1 run scoring. 1 run on 1 hit. 2 walks, a batter hit. Comes the first Met base runner. Hernandez 77th walk. He is 5th. Bill Duran was 79. Dale Murphy was 79, and then Keith Hernandez home run ratio. And there's ball with Terrell Strawberry, 21 years of age.
Swinging the wrong end of that thing, isn't he?
The way he's hitting, you could go up there with a newspaper. And a line drive to left field, a base hit. throws into second base. That's a good play. As Hernandez, who had pulled up, goes on over to third.
Good play on Hernandez's part. And I'll tell you, I think a throwing error should be given on plays like this, but it won't be. George Foster rips this ball down the left field line. Now, Bobby Brown comes up and just throws the ball to second base. Now, Hernandez had rounded second. A throw to third would have stopped Keith. But now he just, after the throw to second, he goes on into third base. You don't throw behind the runners. You throw in front of the runners.
And a good play by Hernandez as he moves over the...
He had stopped.
He advanced the extra base.
That's right. He took an extra base because of a throw to second base behind him, because he had stopped at second, but no errors ever given on a play.
The Mets with runners at first and third and 2 men out, and Darryl Strawberry, the batter, the hero of last night's game. 3 for 3 with a walk. And he hit his first National League home run off a left-hand pitcher. Strawberry taking the first pitch at call for 22 home runs, 61 runs batted in. And the slider hangs.
Luis De Leon, the fine right-handed reliever of the Padres.
1 ball, 1 strike to count. And 2-1.
Buggy whipping, hasn't he?
Boy. Foster does not give signs. That's just a decoy. And a good pitch by Lawler.
Boy, smoked that ball.
1-0. And the fastball is foul.
There's John Stearns with the jacket on. 9.
Set a record for National League catches. The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball in the hole. Over there is Bonilla. He can't get to it, and Hernandez gets to score. So the Mets have tied it up as Darryl Strawberry picks up his 62nd run batted in.
And I'll tell you, most first basemen will get to this ball, but Alan Wiggins is not an experienced first baseman. The ball in the hole, it wasn't hit well, but it was hit just well enough. Check his swing right there, kind of pigeon-toed at the plate. Not closed nearly as much as he was when he first came up, and that dramatic swing of Darryl Strawberry.
Well, if you put enough good swings on it and you get a fastball, you're likely to hit a ball hard, and that's exactly what Seaver did there. And as you see, Bobby Brown took an extra base hit away. Here's his swing, and the mechanics are extremely good.
Check his head, Ralph.
Right on. Yeah,
Yes,
he's
sir.
got it right on the ball. This is his off speed.
If it came up, it might have been a strike.
And is saying, I got it. You stay there. Ball gets away. Now right here he points to him. So Hernandez can go back to the bag at first. Seaver putting it in the computer and coming up with the out. He thought very well on that one.
For the Padres in half, it's 1-1 Mets and Padres. Rupert Jones back, way back, up against the wall. It's going to be at least 3 for Hubie Brooks. Hubie pulling in with his 4th triple of the year. The leadoff base runner here in the 3rd inning. Boy, he hit that ball a ton.
He really did. Watch Rupert Jones. He really doesn't know which way to turn. The hardest play in baseball is a ball hit right over your head. He checks out the fence and then comes up with this try. It's not good enough, and now he has to run it down as Hubie goes into third base with a stand-up triple. Hubie had been 0 for 6 in this series. Make that 0 for 6 in this series before the 3-base hit.
Ball hit well right field, way back, way back. Out of here, home run, number 12 for Keith Hernandez. And the Mets lead 3-1. Calls again.
And Keith Hernandez picks up his 12th home run, his 57th and 58th RBIs as he drives this ball over the right center field fence. Tony Gwynn cry for that. Here's the swing that saw the ball go out of the ballpark. Got all of it. Stayed right on it perfectly, and Hernandez, who had 2 hits last night, has his first tonight. He also has walked and scored.
Boy, has he been hot. RBI's number 5. Bob Baylor is hit by a pitch. A fastball inside just nicks Bob. Baylor is a base-stealing threat.
Well, the fastball gets away. And
Czar's 3 inning, his 2nd in a row, and we'll go to the bottom of the 5th with the Mets leading 3-1. But now here's a word from Stu.
6.5 innings of play. It's a tie ball game at Shea.
So we'll go to the 9th inning with the game tied at 3. Now here's a word from
That's the case every hitter would do it.
That's right. 0-2 the count, and there goes Salazar to third. A driving stop by Bob Baylor, and the double play easily made at second. A great play by Bobby Baylor as the runner was going to third, and it's a double play to end the inning.
And a big play this is. Jams Bonilla with the fastball, and Salazar was trying to steal third base. So actually he's by third base now, and the little soft toss. Second double play of the night for the Mets.
A walk and nobody left. Bob Baylor receives congratulations. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 3.
It would certainly appear that way, huh?
It certainly did. His excellent control failed him there, and Rusty more than likely will be pinch run for.
I would think Mark Bradley would be out there, wouldn't you, Stu?
Mark Bradley. John Stearns is available, and here comes the dude.
Nice going.
John Stearns' first appearance of the season. He has been out all year and finally had an inflamed elbow operated on. He still cannot throw or swing the bat effectively, but he does run well, and he will be the pinch hitter. His 1983 debut comes in September. Welcome back, Johnny. At 3. Now here's a word from Oldsmobile. Birch caught up with it. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Gorman here in the 15th. And as we go to the bottom of the 15th.
Hit by Mark Bradley on Wednesday night.
And a line drive base hit right field. So Baylor. Now the ball gets by, but Baylor cannot advance as Gwynn. I don't know. Do you think Tony was trying to decoy him there or just misplayed it?
No, I just misplayed it. Line drive hit nicely to right field. And Gwynn coming into
base by now. Not very often. 3-2, and Baylor is. Baylor running, and a line drive base hit right field. Baylor will at least be at third base. Gwynn gets the ball in very quickly, and the Mets have runners at first and third on the hit and run with nobody out.
Well, a high fastball from Elias Sosa, and Ron Hodges hammers this. Of course, you take a chance on it. If that ball's right up a knee, there's nothing you can do about it. But Bale's just keeping on chugging around the third base, where if they catch the line drive, they can throw the runner at third out.
Ashford hitting 182 recently come into the game. Tucker just now, and Bryan just a few innings ago. But Dick Williams has worked the. So here is Brian Giles, who has struck out twice against 2 different pitchers. Bases are loaded with nobody out. The infield playing way in on the grass. The catch, and Bob Baylor will tag and score. The Mets win in the 15th inning, 4-3. Bob Baylor scores the game winner on a sacrifice fly by Brian Giles with the bases loaded and nobody out in the bottom of the 15th inning. Tom Gorman picks up his first win of the year. His record now 1-4 as Gorman pitches 2 innings of relief to get the victory. Elias Sosa takes the loss. He is now 1-4, and the Mets are 11-4 in extra inning games. They have won 10 of their last 11. Tim and I will be back with a wrap-up. Kiner's Corner will follow, so stay with us. Late night here on TV9. Now, here's a word from Dotson.
They opened that big 4-game series against out on the losing end of a 7-5 score to the Padres. Padres led 4-3 in the 5th. Terry Kennedy sent this Ed Lynch offering over the right field fence, a 2-run shot, his 12th home of the year, 6-3. Padres out in front. Mets get 2 back in the 6th. Hubie Brooks 2-run double to left. Now that was it. The Padres win it 7-5. American League pennant race scoreboard.
And the slider popped up in the shallow left center. Might drop. Here comes Mookie. And here comes Foster, and Foster with a diving catch makes the play. So Foster coming out of the blue makes a sensational catch.
Pull, you see where Mookie came from, and Rupert Jones is a left field hitter, even against a guy like Ed Lynch. George comes from nowhere to make that play, some kind of play by Foster, but technically Mookie Wilson should be in a position to make that.
Up with a .236 average with 22 home runs and 62 RBIs. He holds the only 348 times. Still has a club-tying home run record of 2 strikes to count as Hudson comes back to Strawberry and the pitch is fouled off. And a borderline. And he goes after
the second time through the lineup. The Mets are going to be able to adjust to that.
And again a foul to the count to Terrell Strawberry. No score, 1 man out. We're in the bottom of the second. And a line drive base hit. Oh, Strawberry signals in the center field off that high fastball that Bud was talking about.
Well, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He keeps throwing the fastball. Eventually he's going to catch up with it. He threw a breaking ball in the dirt to Mookie. And Mookie struck out on it because he hadn't seen it. So you have to establish your breaking ball and watch Terrell Strawberry keep those hands back and then pow.
Boy, he stayed up nicely on that.
Stayed up on top of that ball. Yes, he did.
That's why he hit a baseman covering. Which way? There he goes, and the ball is taken. A strike call. Strawberry slides in safely. So Terrell Strawberry with a stolen base against Bo Diaz.
The throw on the money by Bo Diaz. The tag a little late, and let's watch it. I believe he tagged Strawberry up on the chest, and Strawberry having those long legs. Let's count his steps on his breakaway. 1, 2, 3, 4.5 steps. So a good jump by Terrell Strawberry. A strong throw by Bo Diaz, but to no avail as Strawberry is safe.
And there's a play on now at second, and it's ball. So runners now at first and second with 1. And he stays high.
Record in extra innings. 11 and 14 overall.
Chalk that up to Mr. Jesse Orosco. There's a good throw. And a hard base hit to left field. Strawberry will score. And the Mets take the lead 1-0.
That ball on the ground. And Brian Giles just picks it off the ground and lines it into left field. He waited a long time and had a good reaction against that fine pitch by Charlie Hill.
Left fielder Greg Grove. I'm not too sure whether Morgan had a play at first base.
I believe he did. Mike Torres was not smoking it down the line. He got out of the box fairly decent, but I think he thought Morgan may force the runner Brian Giles at second. He just took a lot of time and was a little laxed on that ball and dropped it because of that.
So it is scored as an error, and the bases are loaded. Hodges at third, Giles at second. It does change the picture considerably, and there's a 94. And Charlie Hudson working with the bases loaded. And it's 1-2. Center field, a base hit. 2 runs will score. Hodges scores, and now Giles scores, and the Mets are leading by a score of 3-0 on the base hit by Mookie Wilson.
And if Mookie Wilson could do this more often with 2 strikes, cut down on his swing, make contact, then he would be tremendous, even more of an asset to the New York Mets. But with those tremendous amount of strikeouts, if you don't hit it rough, you ain't going to get on.
Pretty hard to get on base. You got to hope the catcher doesn't catch. 46 runs batted in for the year, and it brings up U.B. Brooks. And the fastball inside. Second appearance against the Mets, and the fastball chopped to the shortstop, Ivan De Jesus. He throws to Morgan, covering at second. Nothing.
It's not just a race. It's a game. If they think I'm tired.
Right on the
outside corner. That is strikeout number 2 for Walt Terrell, and it ends the inning. 2-run score, though, for the Padres on the 2-run home run by Terry Kennedy. 2 hits, and no one left on base. And the score at the end of 5.5 innings, it's the Mets 4 and the Padres 2.
Just imagine yourself in an old Cutlass Sierra, the newest version of America's most popular mid-size car line. A new Cutlass Sierra. No other front-wheel drive car is a better reflection on you. Can you think of a better way to spend a night on the town? New Cutlass Sierra. I'm a good old guy.
Time. For over 50 years, 7-Eleven has been in the business of saving time. But for the thousands of children who have muscular dystrophy, time may be running out. Join our freedom fight for Jerry's kids at your 7-Eleven. Every minute counts. It's about time we put a stop to muscular dystrophy. We're so close to a cure. We've got to do more than just hope. Won't you help Jerry's kids?
The only difference between these 84 Corvettes is the gasoline they're using. This one accelerates faster with Amoco Premium Lead-Free. It's the highest octane lead-free you can buy, and the same high-performance gasoline that helps solve engine problems like knock and run-on in your car. You expect more from Amoco, and premium performance is one way you get it.
We're going now to the bottom of the 6th, and Junior Ortiz to lead off, and there it is. Happy birthday, Pat. And this one chopped out to the third base side. Salazar has it, the throw to first base for the out. So Ortiz, who had struck out his first 2 times up, achieves a little more out of this one.